Natty State Studio, the sports media palace of Mid-America, the Wolf of Center Street. Here's your host, John Neighbors.
And welcome into the John Neighbors Show here live from Tin Roof at Dickson Street. Once again, since it is a Thursday, we always appreciate them having us out. It's always a good time to come out here. So be sure to stop on by as we'll be out here streaming live until 6 o'clock this afternoon, but probably going to keep the party going no matter what. So come on out not only for $2 off domestics, but you get half-price apps and also $5 you call it's too. So we'll have to hear more about what Tin Roof has going on here. But, of course, I am John Neighbors. I got Scotty Bordelin with me of Natty State Sports as well as Curtis Wilkerson. And I'm really glad, guys, that not only we're here, but we're not an Oreo like last time because Curtis and Andrew wore the I guess, was it the dark gray shirt? No, that black. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, charcoal, black or charcoal.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was that. And then we also had a little bit of me wearing the sand, I think is what it's officially called. So, yeah, so it was something like that. But either way, we appreciate everybody who is listening in and watching in as we got plenty of things to discuss today, especially knowing that there's baseball to talk about, there's basketball to talk about, there's some football to talk about, there's a lot of things to talk about, but I guess we got to start with the disappointing 0-2 in barbecue. Do we? For the Razorback baseball team. I mean, do we need to? Maybe we don't, but
baseball team said, "Can I get a plate?"
Yeah, bro. They went straight to the barbecue, man. They were hungry for it.
Yeah, it was. Today was a tough watch because game 2, you see from Arkansas's equipment manager earlier today that, like really early, like 7 o'clock-ish, Hagen Smith's going to start, so you feel pretty good about it. And then first inning, Hagen throws a ball away trying to quick pitch or trying to quick pick a guy off first base, and then Peyton Stovall lets a ball that I think David Horn said the ball got kind of lost in the crowd a little bit when it got hit at him, and the ball ran on him, got into the outfield, and the inning just got away from them, and they find themselves in a hole right away. And it felt like every time they battled back, like there was always another answer. You end up going 0-2 in Hoover, which, like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but then again, you have no momentum right now.
No,
and
that's exactly right.
And you've got to wait a week to, try to get this thing going again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know I was having my my coffee this morning at first pitch, and I was like, man, I gotta wake up so I can pay attention to this game. It looked like Arkansas didn't have their coffee, man. Like they were all over the place, throwing balls all over the yard. It was kind of ugly, especially early. They battled back a little bit, and so that's something that you like to see. But I don't know, man. I mean, you can look at it through whatever lens you want to. At the end of the day, like if you, and no disrespect at all, but if you start Ben Bybee to open the SEC tournament, that tells you all you need to know about how serious they are about going out and winning this thing. But there's a difference between wanting to go out and win the SEC tournament and just wanting to be playing good baseball going into the NCAA tournament, right? I mean, you still want to, like, you go into this thing with a checklist of things that you want to accomplish while you're in Hoover. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean winning every game while you're down there, but you want to get work and good work out of the arms that you have, pegged to pitch for you in the regional. You want to get certain guys going in the lineup, and you want to play clean baseball. Like, I thought yesterday against South Carolina, like that was a pretty good game against two top 10 teams. I mean, it was back and forth. Cole Messina is good. I mean, what are you going to say?
That guy, man.
He's unbelievable. Today, it was kind of sloppy. It was kind of gross. I thought they maybe took a little bit of the nastiness off of it with the 4-run inning there, and I can't remember if it was the 5th or the 6th, and they made it competitive, but it was just it was sloppy. They looked like they were ready to get out of there. But what are you going to do, man? Like you turn the page and you go on to the regional now.
Yeah.
Where would this struggling offense be without Peyton Holt?
Dude, well, I mean, I was even thinking about that today between Peyton Holt and Peyton Stovall, the two Peytons. I mean, those are the only guys I feel like right now you'll be able to count on in hitting. Like Stovall's hitting 350 so far this year, and he in this game went 2 for 4. But you're right about Peyton Holt. He got 2 bombs today. Those are the only 2 hits he had were 2 home runs. But yeah, it's just really concerning just to see how. It's one thing if you lose, because who cares? It's the SEC tournament, right? It's Hoover. Like we've all woke up in Hoover on a Thursday morning at 9 feeling weird. It's just like it's just part of it. It's part of the city down there. But it's the fact that they lost in the same way and in the most frustrating way that they basically lost games this season, where it's like, we're going to get guys on base, and then we're not going to bat them in. Or in this particular case, you started having a lot of errors. I mean, I think I saw the little graphic that they put up that Arkansas had 3 errors in this game, and on the entire season combined, there was only like 13 or something crazy like that. I could be completely wrong about that, but just not really looking like a team that was wanting to be there, willing to be there. They wanted to go 0-2 and barbecue as quickly as possible too, and I don't know. It's just hard to feel like when you have that type of performance, you lose the series to Texas A&M the way you did. It's like, where's your confidence? Where's it going to be at right now?
You lost 4 out of 5 now.
Yeah.
Right? Like after you clinched, and the one win was you clinched the SEC West, which you obviously feel really good about. But going into the NCAA tournament, losing 4 out of 5, I mean, Dave's probably pretty pissed about that, if I had to guess.
I mean, I would be
pitching,
too.
Pitching hasn't been great. The offense has just been consistently inconsistent. Like that's the one thing about this team that of late has been consistent is just the inconsistency of the offense. And then the pitching. Like one of the reasons you felt really good in like March and April about this team winning it all despite the offense, and you mentioned this to me earlier when we were hanging out pre-show, like one reason you felt really good about this team being able to potentially win it all is because of the pitching. And now the pitching is inconsistent to match the offense, which has just been wholly inconsistent, minus, a few guys here and there. There'll be a guy that, that jumps out in the game that hits a couple home runs like a Peyton Holt or, Jared Sprague will, hit a few home runs, or Hudson White will get hot or whatever, Peyton Stovall too. But it's never just like, I listened to Dave Van Horn after the game today, and he's just like inconsistent, top to bottom in the order. You got to find it. And then defensively, like with the defensive mistakes that they're making, he straight up said if we do some of these same things today and then yesterday, that they, if they do that next week, they're going to be in trouble, brother. On their home field. Like somebody will be celebrating going to a super on their home field.
Yeah, 100%. And hopefully more than anything, it was just kind of a wake-up call for them. Whether you went into Hoover taking it super seriously or not, just kind of the way they played, like you mentioned, some of the defensive miscues and all those things. I mean, yesterday when they interviewed Dave Van Horn during the broadcast against South Carolina, he was asked like what he likes about this team. He's like, hey, like we don't give things away. Like we don't make a lot of mistakes. We're pretty solid. We're fundamentally sound. And then all those things kind of went out of the window, especially early on today. The script was written from the start today, though, right? I mean, all of a sudden, Hagen was a little bit wild early, and they're throwing the ball all over the place. They're not fielding routine ground balls. You get behind, and then you have a home run robbed when you're trying to respond in the next inning. It was like, okay, we understand how this is going to go. But you're 100% right. Like the offense, they're not going to slug anybody out of the park. I mean, there's going to be some exceptions game to game or whatever, but for the most part, like you're right, they've been inconsistent. But the reason you feel like Arkansas is a team that could prevail in Omaha is because you look at that rotation, and you've got Hagen Smith, Brady Tigert, and Mason Molina all year, and that was consistent. Like nobody can match up with what Arkansas can throw out there in a 3-game series. Well, now you're turning the page to a regional in the NCAA tournament where it's do or die, and how do you feel, man? Like it to me, it's almost like Hagen Smith, and then
you've got one
buddy.
Yep. You've got one guy and some question marks.
Exactly,
especially like at the starter spot. Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm glad they got those guys some work today. I thought Mason Molina looked pretty good to the point where, and I think Andrew Ellis probably agrees with this. In game 1 of the regional, do you go Mason Molina maybe? Like I would. Probably would. You save Hagen for game 2. you hope it works out. But then, like, Brady Tigert, I mean, he had a good inning when he came out there, and I'm like, man, he looks pretty good. Like, maybe he just needed to get a little bit of rest. The velocity's up. Then he comes out for a second inning, and he just kind of, I don't know if he was giving his best effort on that little squibbler out there. A guy reaches, it gets in his head, he gives up a nuke, and then you're like, I don't know, man. It kind of went downhill from there. So the pitching, especially the rotation, has carried this team a majority of the year, and now it's a question mark behind Hagen Smith. And it's also a domino effect. Like, yeah, you could look at a guy like a Gage Wood or whoever that you could throw in there and start, but it just changes the trajectory of what you've been working with and kind of how that process has gone the entire season. And it's almost like you're still trying to figure things out and mix and match a little bit while you get into the most important time of the season. They've got the talent, obviously, to get it done, but you don't feel quite as confident as maybe you did a few weeks ago.
I don't know who you start in a game 3. If you like, Arkansas will probably get to a game 3 in its own regional, but who do you start in that game?
I mean,
is it Tigert? Is it Gage Wood? I think there's
going to be one of
question
them.
marks.
Yeah.
Well, see, and the thing is too is that it's just like this in all sports. It's not even just baseball, but it's like if you have a major weakness in one aspect, which Arkansas, as we know, is their weakness is not just getting guys to score. They can get guys on base. They can get hits. They just can't manufacture the runs. You can have that made up for in other ways, like Arkansas has had all year with their pitching, with their great defense, and in other ways. But when that's going problem, when that's a struggle, it's over for you. Like you don't have any other thing that you can point to. Be like, no, it's going to be okay because we can count on this. If you can't count on your pitching and you can't count on your defense, if those are problematics, then it doesn't matter. It's not like the team is all of a sudden going to be like a balancing act. Well, when this starts getting bad, then they'll start getting good at hitting. That's not how it works, and that's what is scary to me. Is if you can count on the pitching, if you can count on the defense, that's good enough. Because you just have to be good enough. You don't have to be great, just good enough to win, and even if it's close games. But if you can't count on those things either, then I'd hate to be in the shoes of Andrew Ellis, who's not here, who needs him anyways? He's not a baseball guy. But like him doing the bombastic podcast if they lose in the regional for the second year in a row.
Oh, my gosh, man.
What that is going, like the fans are going to do and say, and it's going to be nasty.
It would be absolutely brutal, and hopefully it doesn't get to that point. And honestly, there's a little bit of concern that's creeping in at this point late in the year. They have been playing their best baseball the last few weeks here. Everybody understands that, but does what happened in Hoover from a results standpoint mean anything big picture? No, it absolutely doesn't. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like if you put a gun to my head and you're like, well, so is Arkansas going to make it to Omaha or not? I'd still say yes. Because they've done enough throughout the course of the season to where they're going to be at bomb for regional, they're going to be at bomb for a super regional, and they've been so good at home. You'd like to think that ultimately, there's probably going to be some peaks and valleys while they go through this, that you'd like to think that they'd be able to get through it. You got the home field advantage. It's one of the best in the country, and they played so well on that park all year. Great. And hopefully that's the case. But then once you get there, I don't know. For a majority of the season, I felt like, man, this could be the team that really, really does it for a lot of different reasons. And I'm just less confident now than I was before. It doesn't mean they can't get it done.
Right.
But it doesn't feel, I don't know, like I don't have as much conviction behind it as I did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. And the thing that stuck out to me today, listening to Dave, was the inning that Arkansas got the Peyton Holt 3-run homer to get him back within 6-4. He was like, "Yeah, we had the big inning, but we needed one more hit to actually, make it like a real game again and keep momentum on our side." I don't even know if this really applies to baseball, but just like the killer instinct with the lineup, can you just keep stacking hits? Can you carry momentum from, maybe 3 to 8 in the lineup enough to scratch across 3 or 4 runs at that point? And you can have the big 3-run inning, but can you continue after you get that big shot that makes you feel like you're back in the game? Can you get another hit to even apply more pressure? I don't know. It's they can, every now and then they can get a big hit like Peyton Holt gave with the 3-run homer today. But I feel like if they had gotten one more hit, they make it that 1-run game. You're really applying real game pressure at that point. And then it's kind of up to the pitching staff to throw another 0 on the board, and then you carry that momentum into the next half of the inning. I just don't know, man.
Well, it's like that South Carolina game that they lost in game 1. Like, that was the most indicative of the entire season right there, where you had Arkansas in a position where they were down, they stormed back. They have one out with runners at the corners, and they're down one run. And it's like if you get just a pop-up, and at least you can make you extend it, but they had some horrible at-bats. Like, that's another thing, too. It's just like, what are you, like, I like Aloy, but it's like some of those swings he was doing. It's like, what are you swinging
Dave was
at?
not happy with him.
No.
He was not happy.
No.
You know how last season the offense with the football team would get to third down before you could, like, you're a third down? Mm-hmm. I feel like these guys get to 2 strikes before you even know what hit you. Mm-hmm. And that's an issue. Like, either attack a first pitch and put it in play and try to make something shake, or make the guy on the mound work a little bit. Like, it just feels like they're 0-2 or 1-2 before you even know it. And then at that point, you're kind of in a hole, and you're playing defensive at the plate, and that's really what you don't need when you've got a pitching staff that you feel like can carry you places. You just need an offense that's capable. Yeah. Just to slightly more than capable.
Well, like Hayden in our chat over here, he comes up, who was actually at Tin Roof, which is where we're at again. He was there a few weeks ago, but he says, I like to point out that the last 3 national champions are 1-4 in this exact tournament, with Mississippi State looking just horrid. So I guess that's kind of the other side of it, is try to be, optimistic and saying, well, because Mississippi State, when they won the World Series, they went 0-2. When Arkansas made it back to Omaha in 2022, they went 0-2. I guess that's one way to look at it, but we only know what we know, and we can only react to the games we've seen. And luckily for Arkansas, too, the other top seeds did not perform well in their first game in the SEC tournament. So that's helpful, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to find ways to get people to be confident. I don't know if I am doing a good enough job of it, but I'm still trying.
I don't want to get off track here.
No, do get off track, please. This is what we do.
But either Brock Lesnar is in here or his doppelganger is in here.
Oh, it's him. He's wearing the CSU track and field stuff. Oh, he's CSU track and field. Dude.
I saw a text pop up on my phone. I was like, oh,
what?
That's kind of crazy. And then, no,
Is it legit him?
Yes.
Yeah. Legit Brock Lesnar is here? I thought that was like, I wasn't going to say, oh, yep.
There we go. Very cool. All right.
You know what? I have always been a fan of his.
We got to elevate our game now.
Yeah, now we got to step up. We got to make this happen too. So, okay, perfect. Excellent. Now we can get going. Now it's a show. But yeah, we're here at Tin Roof on Dixon Street, so come on out and hang out with us. We're talking about Razorback Baseball, like it matters.
I'm scared to talk now.
I know. It's like, what do we do here? So anyways, but yeah, it's great being out here. And to give an update in the SEC tournament, though, Tennessee is up on Texas A&M 10-7 in the bottom of the 8th inning. So with all 4 seeds that lost, that was at least, and again, maybe wait, if A&M gets eliminated too, doesn't maybe make you feel as bad. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Arkansas is going to host a regional, and they're going to be a national seed. Can we all agree there? Like, they got that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're locked up. They're fine.
Okay. So
the only thing that this 0-2 thing in Hoover could have done is maybe bumped them down a line, which means, like, you get the next spot of a higher 2 seed that comes into Fayetteville next week.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I don't know. I feel good about it until I don't. Like, it's just, I feel like there's times where I felt like this team had it going on, and then they lose early. There's other times where I feel like this team sucks, and then they win, and then they go to Omaha. So that's where it's like it's tough with baseball more so than anything. It's like, how do you really gauge how good they're going to be? I don't really know.
Yeah,
but,
I'd still like to get a spicy 2 seed in here. Like, I've seen a couple projections that's like, oh, Texas is going to be the 2 seed in the Fayetteville Regional. Sign me up for that, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why not? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, there was another real quick baseball update, because I know people want to talk about other things too besides Razorback Baseball. But it looks like Ole Miss coach Mike Bianco. Is it Bianco or Bianco?
We said Bianco.
It doesn't matter. He sucks. But he's going to be remaining as the head coach for Ole Miss for his 25th season in 2025.
You see what a ring can do for you?
Yeah.
Man.
You got to put some respect on that man's name. He's got a ring, John.
That's right.
That doesn't mean I have to like it, though. It's like, they just got lucky. That's how it happens.
You respect him, you don't fear him.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the better way of putting it. So, but yeah, we'll give you updates on the astute and the very elite SEC baseball tournament down there in Hoover. as Arkansas gets ready for the regional. When is that? It's like Selection Sunday they do it, right? Kind of the same
it's
thing?
Monday.
I think they
It's
do
Monday,
it on,
that's
yeah,
right.
it's
That's
always
right.
on Memorial Day, I think.
Yeah, well, so people are going to be, I'm sure, completely fine and not complain at all with the draw.
Oh, no matter
that
what
Arkansas
happened,
gets.
it's the hardest draw.
Yep, it's going to be.
Yep.
If Dave Van Horn says we got a tough draw, I know it's curtains. It's over with.
NJIT's coming here, though, right? For sure.
Dude,
I hope so.
That feels right.
Their entire social media team still follows me on like Twitter, and sometimes I'll get like a random like from them when I'm like, man, Eric Musselman's not happy, and then they'll be like the tweet. I was like, okay, all right, that's cool too. That's cool too. So we're gonna have Aaron Torres of Fox Sports Radio as well as the Aaron Torres podcast joining us later here in the show too, because we are
We
going to
need
talk a
some
little
answers
basketball.
from AT.
Yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. He's still feeling good about old DJ Wagner though. So
I'm feeling good about
I
DJ
feel a little
Wagner,
bit better
too.
today now.
Feeling
Yeah.
good about it.
because I know you guys have been at it on the pod at the Palace and getting after it too. So, but that's the thing is, you just got. I'm just waiting for when it pops, and then when it pops, it'll be great.
The craziest part of this is Curtis went on vacation 2 weeks ago, and I was like typing up a script to go solo, which nobody wanted, but I was going to do it in the event that it happened. And then Curtis was nice enough to make like an 8-minute video that I could play in StreamYard to just like give the pod some extra length. I was going to get in the chat too a little bit. It was probably going to be like 30, 35 minutes tops. And it's been like 15 days, 16 days since that. And nothing, dude. Nothing.
We're still waiting, man. And people are concerned. I'm really not. And I've been maybe more bullish about this than I should be, because if DJ Wagner doesn't come to Arkansas at this point, I look like an idiot. But I mean, I really think it's going to happen. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at it at this point, there's just not. There never was a better fit for DJ Wagner than following Cal to Arkansas, and there's just not that many options for him right now. I mean, USC, the other place that he's visited. Shout out to Eric Musselman. They've got like 19 guys on their roster already. Like it's just a crowded room. Florida was the other place that he was supposed to go visit. Allegedly, that didn't happen. He kind of ghosted him. I think it's just a matter of time. And it's funny that as far you get removed so much from a visit and you don't get a commitment, so people start wondering, like, well, what's going on? What's the holdup or whatever? Well, DJ Wagner never announced when he was going to commit. Like, he never put a timeline on that. We did because he's, like Arkansas's had a commitment every Monday for a month or whatever. So we thought, I don't know, we got a weekend visitor. Maybe he's going to pop then. But he never set a timeline for that. And so I think the further away you get from it, you wonder if there's a snag or a holdup. You start hearing, like crazy rumors early in the week. It's like, I'm hearing DJ Wagner doesn't want to play for Cal. That's crazy talk, man. Like, John Calipari should be the best man at DJ Wagner's wedding for the way that he used him last year. He's playing him over a pair of lottery picks. It's starting him the entire season. You've got all the family connections. Like, there's so many dots to connect for Arkansas and DJ Wagner. I feel like it's a matter of time before it happens. They should be starting to move in onto campus over the course of the next week or so to start summer workouts.
Yeah, that's literally coming up next week.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
crazy.
like, you would think he would want to be a part of that. I just think it's a matter of time before it happens, and it's going to be a big domino that falls. And like some of the signs are pointing there. Like, John Calipari is hanging out with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter,
Casual.
DJ Wagner. I mean, we're not connecting those dots here. I'm just saying.
Man, I didn't. I really didn't. But yeah, you got me. Yeah, you got me talked into it.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's kind of like looking at what the color of John Gruden's tie was every time for Monday Night Football. Be like, if it's red, that means he's going to be the Razorback next head coach.
That's
right.
right.
That's how everybody looked at it too.
Exactly
so,
right.
But no, I think that it's so funny when you mentioned how he never said, hey, this is when we're going to do my commitment or when I'm going to commit. It's like, again, it's just the spoiled nature of fans in general. But we talked about our first show here. It's like, as soon as you get a commitment, they're like, all right, who's the next one?
Yep.
And so, and now that you've had to wait so long for the next one, they're just like, well, something's wrong. Like, did Cal not give him enough money? Is Tyson not coming through?
Yeah, are
like,
they broke?
Yeah, like and it goes insane. I'm like, well, okay, until he commits elsewhere, then start having a conversation of maybe why he didn't commit to Arkansas. But when it's still up in the air, just wait. Just
Exactly.
chill.
Yeah, just try to have patience. And honestly, listen, it's true. Like, I mean, if DJ Wagner goes anywhere besides Arkansas, I mean, the Hogs are kind of screwed at that in the backcourt, because there's just not that many dudes out there now. But it's not the end of the world, man. Like, they're still talking to other guys. They'll figure it out. But no, I think DJ Wagner's going to be a Hog, hopefully sooner rather than later. And it's interesting because, Cal's gone on, like, he's really stumping for this. We're going to have 8 to 9 scholarship guys. We'll have some walk-ons after that. I saw a tweet that went out earlier today. I can't remember who sent it, a national guy. There are 4 high major programs in the country that have more than 3 scholarship spots available right now. And it's like Arkansas, Villanova, I can't remember the other 2, but they all had 4, and Arkansas has 6. So it's kind of crazy to see that. But it also goes to show you, like, Arkansas's got a lot of spots available. They can still sell playing time. They probably still have NIL compared to some of these other places that have really filled up. So if you think about a DJ Wagner, fine. Like, you're probably in the driver's seat for that. But then some of these other guys, too, like the May 29th deadline for these dudes who have been in the NBA draft process, the combine, whatever, they've got to decide, am I going to stick with it? Am I going to go pro, or am I going to come back to college and get a bag for another year? As those guys come out, Arkansas is going to be in a really good spot for them, too, because they have more to offer than some of these other places. So if you think about Coleman Hawkins or Arthur Kaluma or whoever it might be, Arkansas is going to be in a good spot there. So they might only be trying to add another 1, 2, 3 tops guys, but they're in a better spot than a lot of these other programs are. So they're going to be fine. If anybody's worried about it, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I guess I'm happier, or at least more at peace with, Cal's got a track record, so you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm glad that it seems, at least on the surface anyway, that he's being picky about who he puts on his roster. And you're not just throwing any or everybody on your roster. Meanwhile, Pat Kelsey's got 11 transfers, and Eric Musselman's got 10 transfers at USC. And it's just, Eric's doing basically the same thing this year at USC that he did last year at Arkansas, and it didn't go real well. So just because you've got numbers doesn't mean that you're going to have a good team. Like, you got to make sure that you need to emphasize, I guess, quality over quantity, maybe. Mm-hmm. And some coaches are just like, no, I'm just going to maximize my roster with like 13 guys. Okay, well, good luck trying to feed all those mouths during the season. By
the way, speaking of Eric Musselman, I did want to get y'all's take on this because it was a little bit controversial to some.
Shameful.
We're just for those of you who may only be listening, but Eric Musselman's still on Twitter, still doing his thing, but he tweeted out, he said, great having at Kamani Johnson 20 in the gym working out today. And it's Kamani Johnson with a USC shirt at the workout facility. And how do you think Razorback fans took this? I'm sure it was completely normal and rational, right?
Well, I mean, shout out to Kamani, though, because they must did the same thing last week with Adrio Bailey. And Bailey was just Adrio was getting fried for it, man. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, you're out here. First of all, like, Eric Musselman didn't even recruit you. Yeah, and then you're out here, you're wearing a USC shirt. Like, what's going on, bro? And so he was really getting heated up for it. Eventually, he sent out a tweet. Kamani was smart. He's probably out there. He owes a lot to Muss. I mean, Muss was the guy who recruited him. Really did a ton for him on and off the floor. Like, it's actually a really good story, the Musselman and Kamani Johnson angle. But, he was probably out there and was like, hey, man, why don't you throw on this USC jersey, take a pic. But he already knew, and so he got out in front of it, Kamani did, and he tweeted out and was like, listen, everybody, you see it right there. Before y'all start, too, y'all know what it is with me. Don't ever question it. He's got the hog emoji on there. Just letting everybody know, like, you can have a lot of love for your coach. He goes somewhere else, but he's still a hog through and through. Good on Kamani. Smart guy to get out of the social media backlash.
It was smart on Eric's part to put a USC T-shirt on the guy who helped him beat Kansas.
That's right.
It's true.
And everybody knows that. Everybody watched that game.
And San Diego State. I can't forget that one.
God, yeah.
The buzzer beater, and the putback. But
it probably was just all a dig at San Diego State. That's probably all it was.
Probably so.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is, like, if fans are upset by this, so I'm not saying all of them are, but most of them understand. I'm like, okay, if you're upset by this, then you can't be saying how great it is whenever John Calipari brings in a former Kentucky player of his at a game 100%. And they wear a Razorback shirt. Like, you can't be like, oh, that's fine, though. But this, we don't like this. Like, you can't have it both ways.
100% agree with that. And then I even remember back at the intro press conference with Cal, and Kamani was in attendance. He was like, "Oh, we got Dakari's brother." He's like, "You can't even call him by name, bro."
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I tell your mother I asked for.
Yeah, like I said, I was fine with the tweet, and anybody that was upset with the tweet just needs to get over it. Like, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So
it's like people have allegiances to other people. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
that's nuts. Yeah.
Who would have guessed? Well, I keep trying to tell you, to put you in your shoes. I mean, there's people that, like when Bobby Petrino was head coach at Arkansas, and then obviously he wasn't one day, It's like there were still guys that are Razorback fans, but there's still guys that were really appreciative and kind of supported him wherever he went. It's the same concept. It's not foreign. It's not weird. It's just, how fans get. They're just like, oh, well, if he's not wearing that hog all the time, 100%. Like, I was talking about this on the show yesterday. There were people saw the picture of John Calipari and Derek Jeter. Like, get the guy a hog lapel or something. Put something that needs some Razorback on. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
shut up.
Is that a blue tie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what if it is? What are you going to do? Does that mean he's thinking about leaving? Does that mean he's like, I'm going to quit. I'm moving on? I'm like, no. But people just look into the smallest and stupidest of things, and just freak out. Because
I like the DJ Derek Jeter, DJ Wagner thing, though.
It's good connection.
That was really good.
I was going to save it for the show tomorrow,
Yeah,
but I feel like it needs to
for
be
a
said.
little while. Yeah.
Dude, how about just a low-key flex of him not only getting a picture with Derek Jeter, but also it's like, here's President Bill Clinton next to me, too, hanging out.
No biggie.
Yeah. John Randall Tyson also hanging out over there, too. On the same day, just hanging out with the big-time celebrities. We thought Muss had celebrities, but then I bet you Derek Jeter was like, hey, Coach, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah.
I bet you that's what it was.
It's exactly right. There's levels to this.
Cal lives a full life every day, brother. It's crazy. He moves different.
Yeah. I'm wondering, at some point in time, when we're going to see him out and about in the wild. I know here at Tin Roof, we've seen him out, walking on Dixon, because apparently, I don't know if he still lives on Dixon or not. We'll find out. But I keep wondering, people are going to see him in the wild at some point, whether it's the grocery store or something. And it's like, how are people going to respond? Is it going to be like, oh, I don't want to talk to him because he's just that big of a deal? Or is it going to be, I'm going to go and ruin his day by being annoying? I mean, how come you didn't call the Hogs at the press conference? Like, did you, you need somebody to teach you how to do it? It's like, no, just leave him alone.
Leave it to El Dorado to get him to call the Hogs for the first time.
I mean, that's where I first called the Hogs in El Dorado.
Same, yeah.
In fact, that's where it's kind of like finding the fountain of youth, or it's like an Indiana Jones movie. That's where you got to go to learn the secret of how to do it is in El Dorado. And then once you learn it, you're good to go. So
Cal's going to have Walmart plus that delivers groceries and puts it in his fridge for him, or he might have a guy on staff that just runs the Sam's for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to have to go out and grocery shop in public. He's like he tries to sell that I'm just Johnny Calipari from Moon Township, Pennsylvania. I'm like, brother, no, come on.
Friday to Friday.
Friday to Friday. Come on.
Yeah,
I know you guys think I'm somebody I'm not, but
dude, stop! You got 1.5 million followers on Twitter.
Come on, man.
Let's not do that. So, a few people here in the chat though, real quick. People are talking about their confidence about baseball too. Going back to that, Braden saying 9.9 confidence level.
Okay.
John pissed off. Hagen is scary, a sight to see. Bats just need to heat up earlier. I will say, to his point, do you remember the first game of the season when Hagen went up against James Madison?
Yeah, gave up a bomb. I called the season over at that point.
Yeah, and what was it? He pitched 52 times in the first inning, and they pulled. I was like, oh, man, I don't know. The next time he went out, he had 17 strikeouts against Oregon State. Yeah. So maybe that's the key.
Like 17 in a row, almost.
It was
crazy.
Was it 17 in a row, and then he gave up?
It was at least 15 in a row.
Yeah.
I know he got into that sixth inning.
Yeah, and I think crazy. It was of that 17. Was it 10 or 11 of them was striking out swinging. It was absurd stuff. So whoever they end up being paired with, I'm sure that they'll be fine there too. So yeah, I like the confidence level though of them still getting there.
That's good.
Also, Mr. Hastings says, too bad we lose players to the MLB draft. If that didn't happen, I don't think we'd be complaining about anything right now.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they had a bunch of big leaguers on the roster right now, yeah,
that would help. Double H says, we need a Natty State watch party for the selection show on Monday.
Eyeball emojis.
Ooh. Be on the lookout for that. Do
we have a bracket to put on a wall or something?
Get a fat head and just put it up on the wall and talk about it? Maybe so.
Yeah, I haven't gotten many fat head ads on Instagram lately for the college baseball selection show.
No.
I'm excited to see the draw, though.
I am
really
too.
am.
Yeah.
Well, what was it, the latest one? In fact, I need to look it up on d1baseball.com. But I remember that latest one. They had Texas coming to town, as the 2 seed. It's like, could you imagine what this city would? I mean, it's already going to be insane no matter what. But if the regional had Texas in it,
nuts. Yeah.
That would be almost too much to handle for anybody. But I think that what do you think? There'd probably be a 5-6 seed somewhere in there as a national seed.
Probably at this point. I bet they dropped a spot or two.
Wait a second. Has the baseball team started struggling since the last basketball commitment Arkansas got?
Yes.
Get another basketball commitment in.
Yeah.
That's the key.
You got to get another
Flip
dude.
the mojo.
Yeah, because if y'all remember the last time, what was it?
It was May 6th.
And which game did Wagner go to? Was it Mississippi State? Was that the
He
series?
was at the game 1 of Mississippi State. It's been downhill since then, boys.
Just saying. So it sounds like Cal is the secret, is the success that get this team back on track.
People are talking.
Yeah, that's what it looks like too. But yeah, they still haven't updated it. It looks like the same too for that. And also Tennessee just beat Texas A&M. So about to have LSU South Carolina up at the SEC tournament.
How do you feel about Tennessee beating A&M? I don't feel like there's a winner in that game.
I don't either.
For Arkansas fans, there's really not.
Yeah,
No.
I'm with you.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I just for the top 4 seeds in the SEC, I do find it interesting that D1 baseball had Tennessee as their number 1 team, but they have Kentucky as their number 1 overall seed. I always wondered why that is the case, but not that matters. It's just something I'm just bringing up either way. Also, here into the chat, there was a few. Where is it going to be at? Aiden says people are going to be walking up to Cal asking to lace up his loafers.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Braden says since Curtis shaved his stash, his one was pretty bad. This one started going downhill.
There's truth to that. It's on its way back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's making a comeback.
I recognize a mistake when I make one.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas is 3-5 in the time that Arkansas basketball has not had a commitment. 3-5.
That's a losing record, Scotty.
Yeah. So they got a Duthier on May 6th, the day after Arkansas lost that road series to Kentucky. Since then, you've got a Friday night win over Mississippi State, Saturday loss, Sunday win, and then a Thursday loss to A&M, and you lose 2 out of 3 in that one, and then you lost 2 straight in Hoover.
So it sounds to me like they need to get Wagner to pop this weekend,
Yep.
set you up for the regional, and then get Igor Dimon, the Russian sensation, to pop before the Super, and then just get a little Coleman Hawkins action before Omaha, and then you're set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems easy enough. And then once Wagner pops, then the Wagner for the baseball team, maybe that gets him going. You know, because they got a Wagner on there too.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm really trying to pull stuff out of my rear end, trying to make it all make sense. But yeah, because Mike says, Curtis, what do you think about pairing of Hugo Gonzalez and is it Denham?
Igor Dimon.
Dimon. Yeah, I was about to say Dimon.
But now listen, when we're writing about it, I've learned this the hard way about 15 times now. It auto-corrects to Denham every single time. You got to go back and change it and make sure it's okay. Dimon. No, I mean, first of all, Hugo Gonzalez, he ain't playing college ball. He's a bad man. Nolan Traore, you might be able to talk me into that a little bit. But yeah, Hugo's he ain't playing college ball.
Yeah.
So go ahead and get that out of your mind now. But Igor, he's a bad man. I mean, listen, this is a dude who's a 6'9" point guard, basically. And you can play him off the ball. He can shoot it. He can defend. You can put him at 4 different positions, really. Like Illinois was hot and heavy after him. BYU's been on him. Arkansas, obviously, has been another place there. But like he's playing professional basketball right now. He's in the playoffs in Spain with Real Madrid. He scored 19 points, had 6 assists or whatever today. I mean, this dude is he's the truth. He might wind up being the top international prospect in the NBA draft next year. So, I mean, if you can get that dude to come play for you for a year, then I'd say go ahead and maybe do that.
Yeah, pull the trigger on that.
I'm cool with that. I mean, I think they need a point guard and a 4 to like really balance out the roster construction wise. Igor Dimon is probably best served as a 2 or 3. They could play either one of those positions, but he's so good that you just take him and you just make it work. You move some guys around. It's
It'd be a pretty wild lineup if you got a 6'9" Igor Dimon running the 2 or the 3 for you. It'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to have a guy
You can do a
named,
lot with a lineup like that.
I'm just excited to have a guy named Igor. Like just hearing George do that name whenever he makes a shot.
Igor Dimon inside.
you gotta start him.
Yeah. You got to start him with that. Yeah, at least for one game, so we can hear what it sounds like.
He's really going to be put to the test. I mean, if you really get this, I mean, you might have an Igor. You're going to have a Boogie
Yeah.
playing, a Zvonimir, a Visic, a Nelly Davis. Jonas Adu.
Adu
with
with
the
the arrow.
No matter what combination they go with, like he's going to have to really be on his A game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John George is going to be on top
He
of it.
can do it.
By the way, a huge shout out, and we really appreciate Brock Lesnar showing up for our show today here at Tin Roof.
Yeah.
It was really nice of him. And
he was buying the hype.
yeah, he was. He was over here giving us thumbs up, and he was just like, I'm not going to hurt you, don't worry. So it was great. In fact, somebody tweeted, they said that they'd put $10 on it if Scotty went over there and challenged him to a fight.
$10?
$10.
$10?
Dude, I need.
Yeah. What if it was all three of us? Do we think we could take him if it was all three of us?
God, no.
No.
Okay. Well, what if it was everyone here in this room?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to see what the odds would be, trying to balance it out and everything. Of course, I don't know. Like, I think if Mao over there, she might be able to take her. Her blood runs hot, so she might be able to go over there and knock him out. So
I don't know, man. I mean, we got the text message from Branson. He's like, well, apparently Brock Lesnar's here, and I was
thought it was
looking
a
around,
joke.
and I saw the person sitting in the back there, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I mean, kind of looks like him, whatever. But when he stood up, I was like, holy crap. Yeah, that's definitely him. Because you can have doppelgangers in this world, but there aren't two people that
Nope.
look exactly like Brock Lesnar.
No.
Like, that dude was
No.
huge.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He looks like he could still swing.
I'm going to be careful because he might still be within earshot. I don't know how far down Dixon Street sidewalk
be.
he's gotten, but
Dude, I would take one. Like, if he came in here right now and, like, powerbomb me through this table on the live stream, I'd take one for the team.
Dude, I would too for the content. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's fine.
You know how many we become such a meme of just being like over here at Tin Roof, and all of a sudden it's just like, God, that's Brock Lesnar's music, and
Yeah,
he comes flying in and just. Yeah,
I just came to Fayetteville to get away from the madness and have some half-priced apps out here, and
Yeah.
these idiots are,
talking about
calling me
Razorback
out.
Baseball and calling me out on stuff I didn't even care about. So, because I was trying to think, I guess Walmart shareholders meeting is going on. That's what somebody said. So maybe it's for that, but I don't know. It was still
He's here
pretty
for
cool.
the track thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess that it does make sense. Yeah, there's that too.
Gosh, man,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
that was awesome.
By the way,
We didn't come across a starstruck either. We did good.
no, yeah, well, because at first I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, okay, sure. It's like, why would it be? It's like, yeah, it's like, it's like John Calipari was walking out, and
Yeah, it's fine.
Brock Lesnar's here. It's whatever. It's like, sure, whatever you say, buddy. And then nope, it was actually him. I was going to say though that Johnny said about your mustache. He said, better check with Mama Curtis. Well, Michelle says, after this weekend, I'm gone for work, so bring back the stash if it's magical. So.
Yeah, well, and first of all, if anybody watched or didn't watch the last episode of the Pod at the Palace, she gave me a fake one, like a gummy bear version of a
That was
mustache.
great.
So I wore that during the show. But she gave me the green light as long as I grow everything else out, like a beardish situation.
Like on the face? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then she's okay with the stash being there, and then when she leaves, it can just go to full stash mode.
Okay.
And she's gonna be gone. I'm not gonna tell you guys where she's gonna go because you might disown her. Auburn.
Ew.
But that's where she's gonna be next week. So
I'm gonna say she's gone to all these like cool places and stuff, and she's going to Auburn.
yeah.
Ew. Well, avoid the trailer park that's next to the stadium.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all
yeah. What
yeah.
are you
that's
doing, lady?
Yeah, it's like I don't know who wants to go there. Well, they're not going to be in baseball postseason. I know that for a fact, but still. But yeah, folks, we're out here till 10 Roof. We're going to be going live till 6, but party will continue on. So come on out and see us. And we're going to take a break. When we do come back, though, we're going to have Mal back by popular demand here on the show because apparently she told me that somebody on Sunday came in and said, "Hey, are you the girl from that show?" And I was like, "That's all we needed right there."
That's her.
Okay, so that's Brock Lesnar's
daughter, Maya.
She's a national champion.
Shot putter.
Could have fooled me. Like, man,
She could throw one of us down Dixon.
I'm about to say she'd shot put us down. Yeah, like I mean that.
Holy crap.
Yeah, man, I am so on edge right
this
now.
is electric.
It's like that's the thing. Get her an NIL deal for that. So she does. I guess she does pretty good. She's got a lot of awards and everything. But yeah, she's
She does
Very
good.
cool,
She
man.
does good.
yep, she's
Pretty good.
man, shoe buddy. Wow, it's how does shot put work? Is that the thing you spin around and you just
It's
kind
just
of
like this thing that you kind of hold
just-
to your neck, like
Yeah.
something
And then-
you don't want on your neck, and then you just get rid of it. Yeah.
The
throw
disc
it.
is where you
Like-
spin.
Yeah, spin it like right here.
I always wondered, like, who thought of these sports? Be like, all right, so here's what we're going to do, and this is going to be this way the sport is for thousands of years. You're going to hold it right here, this big metal ball, and you're just going to toss it.
The wildest thing is like the javelin or the hammer throw, right? Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to do that? Like, it's fun to watch, but I just don't understand it.
What is the hammer throw again? Is it literally throwing a hammer? Like, I'm honestly asking.
It's like
I don't think I've ever
you
watched
hold
it.
on. It's like a thing that you can You know, like one of those little bouncy balls that you could hold
Yeah.
like that you messed with when you were little, and it had the little handle that came up like right here. Like one of those things with like a, I don't even know. I'd have to ask Bob. We should have had Bob on today.
You wind up and let it rip.
You wind up and just, you let it roll.
Oh, it was kind of like one
crazy.
of those foxtails. I don't know if you guys have one of those as a kid. Probably not, showing my age there. But yeah, still, it's those are the track events that I'm like, I don't know. Oh,
that.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like one of those skip-it things that you used to put around your leg as a kid, and you just throw those.
Yeah, it's got a metal ball attached by a steel wire to a grip. That's what it
How do you
is.
get into that? Like, how do you just like, you know what? I like the hammer throw. I can't wait to become a professional in that. Like, it's like when I went to high school, there was no hammer throws.
No.
But some people apparently like them. I don't know.
Have you guys ever thrown a boomerang?
I tried. I don't know
No.
how it works.
Does it work? I wonder.
No, I've never done that.
Like, could you just throw it and it just actually comes back to you, or is there a
I mean, that's the
technique?
idea.
Yeah.
But
I'd throw one and it wouldn't come back to me.
That's
yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah, that's also with the frisbee. It's like sometimes I could throw it all right, but most of the time it just like kind of goes and sides and.
We should do
Gravity.
frisbee golf soon.
Oh, there's a
Golf.
park in
Yeah.
Farmington.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a full course out there.
I've
It's
never
fun.
done it, but I've thrown the old frisbee around. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd probably be better at it than actual golf.
I definitely would be better
Oh,
at it
man.
than actual
Yeah.
golf.
Yeah, that would be really rough though. But
I
folks,
wouldn't break the frisbee over my knee. Anyway.
No, and I also wouldn't lose a bunch of the frisbees. I could lose the amount of golf balls. So it'd be.
I don't
very,
know that, like, if you know that when you play golf and you hit that one shot really
Yep.
flush that makes you want to keep playing, I don't know what the equal to that would be in
Dude.
frisbee golf.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, but that's
It's
what
not
makes-
gonna feel the
That's what
same.
makes golf a cruel mistress. It's like, you know, it's like that really hot girl that like flirted with you that one time, and you're like, yeah, I can totally, like that's my standard, like that's my expectation now. It's just like I can get any other girl, and then she's like, leave me alone, and that's what golf is, because then you start sucking. You're like, no, I had that one time where it was really good, so I know I can be good. Not that I've thought about this, and not that it's ever happened to me in my life at all, not at all. So we're here at Tin Roof, folks, but come out and see us. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll get Mal on, talk about some of the great things that have going on at Tin Roof, and keep it moving here on the John Neighbors Show, live from Tin Roof on Dixon. So stay with us.
We not done yet either. So don't be satisfied. We not done.
Hey John, Bob Holt, Arkansas Denver Crickets. I had a two-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric,
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
well, why do you always talk about Kentucky?
You missed it. You missed it. You missed it. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go there with you, Dave. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I like, I didn't like the game, but I'm glad I was able to walk off the floor again and deep inside and have that funny feeling that, hey, one more time, Horns.
Best guys, I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking.
All right, welcome back into the John Neighbors Show here live from the Tin Roof on Dixon Street. I guess our commercial decided to cut early, but that's okay because we have Mal, the assistant general manager here at Tin Roof, once again, backed by popular demand. So what's up, Mal?
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
Yeah, she's very nervous apparently because after the Brock Lesnar thing, you got to shake his hand.
Yeah, and exactly as Curtis put it, my hand was swallowed. Like, that man's hands are 5 times mine.
Well,
So that was cool.
I think he's pretty much 5 times sized like everything
Yeah.
from most of it. So did he? So I guess is he here for the track meet? I
Yeah,
guess that's what it is.
yeah. His daughter plays track and field, or does track and field for Colorado State, and that's housed here today, this weekend, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about track and field very well.
I don't either. I know that she apparently does the we decided what it was. It was the shot put. Yeah. So, yeah, it's see. Listen, I forget that he came for our show. That's why he was here for United States Sports. He heard about it on the social media, on the Twitters, and that's why he stopped by. So, but it's good to be back out here once again with y'all, and I know that you always have specials going on here on Thursdays, and you got the half price apps happening. $2 off domestics.
$2 off domestics, $2 off Wells, $2 off Who's Your Natty. And then later tonight, I don't think I've even mentioned this on a previous week, but on Thursdays, now that the students are gone, it's an excellent time to come and drink because from 9 to 11, it's $1 Wells, and 11 to close, it's half off Wells, so it's $3. And so you can come and save $1 and have a good time.
So what's going to be happening also after, I mean, obviously people are coming for us as the main entertainment, but, what's happening? You guys got on tap for tonight, later tonight.
Yeah, so one of our bartenders just kind of started trying to get into the DJ scene, and he's been doing a really, really good job. His name is DJ Mauve, and he is going to be upstairs at 8:30. And then at 9:30 in this room at Main Bar, we'll have Denver Massey, and he's, I think he's from Memphis or Birmingham, but he's not too far away. But they do a really good job too. A little more like country and fun hits.
Is that more of your vibe of music? Like, just be honest. I know you.
I'm not like huge country fan, but I really love all of the bands that come in here. And I used to listen to a lot more country, but I like all music, especially live.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's great about here is that every time that I've come here, there's been different styles of music, different types of music for everybody. Like sometimes it's just been country music, but sometimes it's been, like a tribute band to say like some 90s hits and doing covers and stuff.
Sure.
So there's just a lot of different variety for people that if it's see one night, it's like, I'm not into that music, we'll just wait till the next night because odds are you're probably going to have something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So, but it's great being out here. And we had you on last week when we talked about students no longer being here. And it changes a lot. Like it kind of just the vibe of Tin Roof and Dixon Street in general.
I mean,
it changes.
Yeah, you've lived in Fayetteville forever. So
yeah,
I would assume that
true.
you understand that. Anybody in the service industry in Fayetteville definitely feels it. But we're gonna figure out a way to keep people in and keep the party going all summer.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that this is the time to come to Tin Roof. I mean, it's always a good time, but right now is the time because
it's the best time of year in Fayetteville.
Yeah, because there's so many people, and this is what I've run into: is someone who, as you said, have been here forever, which is a little stretch. But yes, I'm from Fayetteville, a little bit.
Okay.
I'd say like 7/8 of my life, but it's something that where whenever the students go, people always just have this thing like, oh, Dixon Street, that just means there's a bunch of students around there. It's like, no. It's like there's a lot going on, especially in summertime. It's warm outside. You guys got the back area that you can hang out at. You got the balcony that you can hang out at too. So you can be, because here's my thing. It's always cool to be outside during this time of year, but when you're elevated outside.
Oh, yeah, that's a winner.
That makes you feel like you're on a pedestal.
Yeah, who doesn't love a rooftop? Well, it's not really a rooftop bar, but an elevated bar and get to people watch and feel the breeze. It's nice.
Yeah. Also, Whitty in our chat says, ask her if kids can eat there before a certain time.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. Anybody's welcome any day before 9. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to go around and check everyone's IDs, give you a little stamp if you're 21 and up. And if you're not, then we're going to say, time to go.
Yep. Too bad. So sad. And I like the stamp process because sometimes you get the stamps on the hands and sometimes on the wrist. There's no sneaking around it.
Yeah, no. The night before will be a different placement than the night the present night, so that we don't have any people trying to swipe our cover.
Man, no one would ever do that. Come on now. No one would ever do something like that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, then also next weekend is when the Razorbacks are going to be hosting regionals, which is always a great time. Hopefully also in the next weekend hosting super regionals. So it's a back-to-back thing. So a lot of people are going to be coming out for that. And even though the baseball team hadn't looked so great recently, it's still going to be fun to have that when it all goes down and to be able to have not only people out and about, but people coming from all over the state and everything. And I've even had people that I've talked to from the Central Arkansas area says when they're coming up, they're like, hey, you guys doing anything at Tin Roof for that? I was like, well, just you wait and see.
You wait and see.
Because it might be happening. We'll see. But for those of you who are going to be traveling, though, for the regionals, looking for a place, and assuming that Arkansas takes the early game on Friday, which I think Dave Van Horn has done every year except once. And I remember him being asked about it, and he gave some weird answer. But either way, assuming that it's going to be a 2 p.m. game on Friday, next Friday, and then what you do is after that game, you just come hang out at Tin Roof and enjoy the rest of your night. Until
But actually, on Friday of next week, regardless, we're opening at 11 for lunch.
There you go.
Anybody who wants to come grab a bite before the game or watch the game here.
During the game, after the game.
Yeah.
Basically,
so
you
we'll
don't
be
have
open
to,
at 11.
You can be here from 11
Friday
to
next week.
2 a.m. if you wanted to be.
Yeah, I don't recommend that, but actually, come hang out, and if you exceed your limits, then I'm going to give you some water and tell you to take a hike and come back in a few hours.
Yep. Throw some liquid IV, maybe some pickle juice. Try to get your mind right.
Electrolytes, yeah.
Yeah, all the electrolytes. But and then if Arkansas does win game 1, which of course they will, then they play the late game on Saturday, and so then you guys open up at what time Saturday for everybody to come hang out?
11
next
a.m.
game.
Yeah.
Again.
All
Man.
day.
So basically, show up at 11 a.m. during
We'll
the
take
regional.
the campers. We'll take them.
Yeah, there's you say that you'll take the campers. Have you met those people?
No, but I want to.
Yeah, well, no, you don't. Like you don't. They're like people that it's like you think is cool and you want to meet them until like they start telling you their story and you're like, you know what? This is weird. Whatever you have said.
Come on in. I want to hear your story.
See, that's okay. Well, yeah, you can go. Everyone go talk to Mal if that's the case. Leave everybody else. We'll just go talk to Mal. But because last week people don't know this too, that you talked to Bob Holt for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that was a special moment in my night and in my life. Yeah, we talked about everything, and it was really, really special.
Yeah. Well, what's weird, or not weird, but what's crazy is that I invited him out again today, but he is covering the track prelims that's going on. But he was very complimentary of you, said that once you get done with your master's, you're going to be the head of EPA. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to trust him.
A very, very, very sweet compliment that I will hold near and dear to my heart for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, listen, to get a compliment from Bob Holt is something every single time because he is.
I don't want to be insulted by him. I don't want him to pick, the shit.
Yeah, well, it's like when he started going after me, he told that story about how I picked up everyone's tab for like all their drinks and everything up at San Francisco, and he was like, John, we need to talk to you. You better have a problem. And I'm like, and then he still apologizes to that day, so that's okay. I'm all for it. Braden Wood even says on the chat, he says 3 hours is a short conversation for Bob Holt. That is true.
Hey, I'm still going to take it. Let me have this one, Braden.
Yeah, he'll let you have it. He'll let you have it. And then, somebody says, does Tin Roof offer discounts to all Hog fans? No.
We don't, because who's coming in here that isn't one? Like,
True.
if you live in Fayetteville and you're not a Hogs fan, then I would prefer you walk out.
So see, but that's what
Not really,
but that's what you say. You say yes, you do, because everyone who comes in here is a Hog fan. So therefore, the prices you're discounted.
Oh yeah, it's
Totally.
already set.
Yeah, it's already been set in stone, so you don't have to worry about it. Also, Aiden says John is a people person, just not a weird people person. Well, I mean, that's not true. It depends on your definition of weird. It's just sometimes where...
Is that referring to the campers?
Yeah, the campers.
Okay.
The people, like, they bring out sofas and lamps and rugs on the sidewalk.
That sounds like my kind of people.
Does it? Like, I mean, it's just such a... I don't know. I mean, it's so hot outside. It's like you have a shower there.
You got to post up.
Like, do they have I guess they have porta potties in the bathroom? Like, I don't know. Like, it's one thing to do it, for a concert or, like a big football game. But for like a regional, when you're going to get a good seat no matter what, and it's for general admission in the hog pen. It's not like you're getting the best seat in the house.
I respect it.
Well, again, that's I respect it too, I guess. I respect it too. And Aiden says, he says camping is just cosplaying as homeless. Well, I guess that's one way to put it if that's the case.
Well, then
Jeez.
Don't camp, Hayden, or whoever.
Aiden. Yeah, just don't worry about camping then. And then our Broken Hog says, we don't want non-hog fans at Tin Roof anyways. So that's true.
Actually, on
now,
that, though.
Hold on. You said it.
Okay, well, during football season, especially when we have people coming in that are traveling from other schools, they are the most fun to take care of. And I implore you guys to come in here, even though you're probably not listening to this. But, no, seriously, they're some of the most fun people to take care of when you're bartending.
You know why? Because they're fearful.
They're in party mode, and they're here they traveled to come see them play Arkansas, and I love it. They're some of my favorites.
They come in fear because they feel like if they act a fool, a bunch of Razorback fans are going to come at them, so they have to be extra nice. That's why they do it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But they're also having a good time, and they generally tip well because they want their fan base to seem like they're, accepted and invited, and it's always really fun.
Yeah, we don't like to be accepting, though, for Razorback fans. Because usually when they come in, they win. The other team wins.
Yeah, that's
at least
true,
in football
but,
and in basketball.
When it comes to the service, though, it's fun.
That's true. And in the service industry, that works out, too. Do you have a question? Because you always come up with these questions, and you said you didn't have a question, but I'm going to put you on the spot and ask a question. Do you have a question?
No, I've had a lot going on this week.
Like what?
Well, I went to an event at the Kansas City Tin Roof, and that was a very, very fun time. They do this thing every week or every year called Summerfest, kind of at the beginning to pop it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an all-day, sets, different local Kansas City sets all day. There are several different stages, too. And so I was just kind of helping facilitate that and had a really, really good time. Exhausted. Haven't really slept since then. But anyways, it was great. My question. Let's see. Okay. This is going to be a little more obscure, I think.
I love it. Yeah, it's all about the obscure.
Okay. If you could have access to a time machine,
okay,
would you go back in time and fix previous mistakes or a previous mistake, or go in the future and just see where you're at with what you've done?
Oh gosh. That's actually a really good question.
It's the first one also that hasn't been approved.
That's true. That's true. Well, you haven't approved questions to me, have you?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, anyways. So basically, if I'm in a DeLorean, do I want Back to the Future Part 1 or Back to the Future Part 2 is basically what you're asking. Which one would I rather go down? Okay, so for that, I say go into the future. Because it would kind of be cool to be like, did I end up as a jackhole and terrible? Or, if that's the case, then maybe I can go back in time and then fix whatever it was. Or, because in the past, I already know what that was, but I don't know how I would fix it. Unless I would fix my obesity as a child. You know what? I would do that. Because,
well, you fixed it now, so why?
Well, because listen, you can get, I'm not saying anything offensive here, so don't take it the wrong way, but I'm just saying it's easier to be an adult who's overweight than it is a kid to be overweight. Let me tell you that. It's man, it's any type of girl you're interested in. It's oh, you're just the big old teddy bear I wanted to hug. I was that's the worst thing I ever wanted to hear. I got friend zone every time. It's just, you have no confidence. Nobody likes you. He's all right, that's the fat kid that has to make up for the sense of humor. They're hey, do the truffle shuffle like Chunk from the Goonies. Or, there's hey, do your best Chris Farley impression. Nobody wants that. So that was the thing that I would go back and do. I would change that. Because apparently Mountain Dew and Doritos and all that stuff is not good for you as a kid.
It's not good for you as an adult either. So
true. That's true. So,
all right. Well,
we got really deep
insight
on that. Yeah, somebody just said it's this turned into a full-blown therapy session for John. I was well, I guess it kind of did. It's didn't want to be going back and trying to change some things is always good there too. What would you do? Do you have an answer for that? Turn it back around on you.
Man, yeah, there's definitely things I'd go back and change, but at the same time, I'm fine. I'm doing fine, and I'd rather see what 10 years from now looks like. So, yeah, no, screw the past.
Screw the past. Go to the future. Move on.
Keep building.
I want to see if they have flying cars.
Didn't they? Nah, I doubt it.
No.
That doesn't really sound very sustainable, and I think the whole move is try to figure out how to be sustainable. I don't know if there's a way to do that.
I don't think so either, but that's just the way I wanted to, when I watch Back to the Future Part 2. Because they said in 2015 that's what they were expecting was going to be
like a giant drone.
Yeah. It'd be so cool. Actually, it'd be dangerous. I think a lot of people would do the wrong things. But now they got self-driving cars now, so it's part of that too. But, Mal, again, we always appreciate you coming on back by popular demand. So, once again, remind everybody what you got going on, not only tonight, but heading into the weekend here at Tin Roof.
Yeah, we've got a local employee DJ playing upstairs, and he is really, really figuring out the ropes. He's fun. You'll want to come see him. And then tonight downstairs, we've got Denver Massey, and they're great. We have them about once a month, I want to say. And then we've got Dollar Wells tonight from 9 to 11, and half-price Wells after that.
And who's your Natties?
Oh, and who's your? Well, yeah. You better get here. What time is it?
It's
I'll give you 2 more hours to get a
$5.05?
$5 Who's Your Natty. After that, it'll be 7.
So that's very nice of you to do.
I'll extend the hour.
Yeah, it's very nice of you to do. But well, we appreciate you, of course, having us out here at Tin Roof. Come on out and see us, folks. And then we're going to keep it moving. But Aaron Torres of the Aaron Torres podcast, as well as Fox Sports Radio, joined us earlier. Talk a little basketball with him. So let's go ahead and hear from what AT had to say about the Razorbacks and their situation, especially when it comes to a guy like DJ Wagner.
Well, Razorback fans, I know that baseball's been on the mind for many of you, but football still is kind of there for some. Basketball is still hitting hot and heavy. And who better to talk about all of that than our very good friend, Aaron Torres. He is of the Aaron Torres podcast, as well as of Fox Sports Radio. And AT, as always, man, appreciate you joining us this afternoon. How you doing?
I'm great, John Neighbors. How are you today, my friend?
Well, it's always great when we're hanging out at Tin Roof. I can tell you that. It's always a good time. So on Dixon Street. But I wanted
Not for John Calipari. Got to put earplugs in and go to sleep. But anyway.
Apparently so. Apparently, sorry for partying over here. Like, my goodness, Cal. But yeah, man, speaking of Cal, I think it's so funny how I've done shows every single day. We've done podcasts and everything. Football, when we talk about it, it's fine. Baseball, talk about it, it's fine. But still to this day, basketball, it blows up. Like, it's incredible to see. And I know you talk about a lot of other sports, but basketball is definitely a passion of yours. How do you just feel like right now, where it's at with Arkansas, with Cal and everything, just the state of it all? And has it been what you have expected since Calipari's taken over as a head coach just a little over a month ago?
Yeah, I think it's exceeded my expectations, and I'll tell you why. And maybe this is a little preview. You'll be joining my show either late next week, maybe even the week after Memorial Day. We talked a little bit about this on my show. It's actually exceeded my expectations from this perspective. I think Cal's dynamic. I think he's everything that we all knew that he was. But I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Maybe it makes me unpopular in the Natty state, but I had some legitimate questions about two different things. Was one, he's got all these great players that either played for him at Kentucky or that are committed to play for him the following year. And I did wonder, like, certainly the players that were on the roster, like, are they going to follow him? And it's like, well, it was so toxic. Everything was so bad. It didn't work out, blah, 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 blah. Who wants to play for that guy? Well, Adu Thiero and Big Z still do, and we're waiting on we're on DJ Wagner watch as we speak. Maybe that one becomes a thing by the end of this weekend or whatever. But two, beyond that, there was certainly the high school recruit element of it, which is, a Boogie Fland, a Carter Knox. They have no affiliation to Arkansas, and they have no real ties to Cal. Now, maybe Carter Knox, his brother played for Cal. He was recruited by Kenny Payne at Louisville, so it's a little bit different. But it would have been easy for those guys, especially a Boogie Fland. He's from New York City, reopen the recruitment, go somewhere else. And so for Cal to essentially get, I think that of the 6 guys that were committed to him at Kentucky, I think he probably wanted 4 of them in a perfect world to follow him. He got 3 of them to follow him to Arkansas: Fland, Richmond, and Carter Knox. And then I think the other thing too is the transfer portal, right? All we heard was, oh my God, he's not going to use the portal, and he thinks it's 2010, and all he wants to do is recruit all these high school players. And it's like, no, he's not only gotten players out of the portal, but I think in the case of John L. Martin and Jonas Adu, he's gotten players that he has no ties with. And I think sometimes we in the media, John, we're in it every day, and you hear the negativity and you see the negativity. And so it kind of just makes me laugh. It's like Jonas Adu was in the SEC. I'm sure he heard from fans how terrible Calipari was, and he's the worst coach ever, and he's this and he's that. And he kind of saw it for himself, and he kind of decided, you know what, I want to be a part of this. Now, obviously, in the NIL world, there's a financial element to all of it, but it's not like North Carolina doesn't have money, Baylor doesn't have money, whatever. And so I honestly think I'm going long here, but it's exceeded my expectations because I wasn't sold that just because the name was Calipari, that all those players were going to follow him to Arkansas. 3 recruits, 2 players have, and obviously he's gotten 2 great players that he had no previous ties to before going to Arkansas.
Well, you mentioned DJ Wagner. I think that's what everyone's kind of waiting on. I'm still confident that he ends up going to Arkansas. Who knows when it actually happens, but what do you think about the delay, I guess, in that decision? And if he does go to Arkansas, what type of player and impact can he have being on the roster next season?
Well, it's only a delay to you and I, and obviously, thousands of Arkansas fans. It might not be a delay to DJ Wagner. I mean, I know he took a couple visits, but we don't know what's going on in his personal life. Maybe it's his mom's birthday was this week or something like that. You just never know. I am optimistic as well. I said on my Wednesday night, Thursday morning show, I still think it gets done. There's a couple reasons. I mean, there's the obvious family ties. DJ's dad played for Cal. DJ's grandfather is best friends with Kenny Payne. We know all that. But there's really two other things. Is one, I don't really know where there's a better place for him to go at this point. Most rosters are mostly set at this point. I think, there's a couple places where if a guy stays in the draft, maybe it shakes things up a little bit. I don't know that there's a lot of great other options for him. And even like a USC, people would say, well, USC, Eric Musselman, whatever. USC took a point guard named Desmond Claude, who was really good last year for Xavier. 17 points a game, 3.5 assists, whatever. And I don't know that DJ is going to have the ball in his hands, even if he wants to go to USC. So you add that in with the fact that, and I keep saying this on my show, but DJ, for as high profile as he's been throughout his high school career, he's never been the biggest social media guy. Even when he was in high school, it was hard to get tangible, concrete data or information on his recruitment. I know Arkansas fans probably didn't follow it closely, but there was like a 6-month kind of blackout on his recruitment where in the spring, going into his senior year, you heard, Louisville's trending. And I have buddies that cover Louisville, and they were like, we never really got anything tangible other than that Kenny Payne hired his grandfather. And so I know I'm kind of going off script here, but I just bring it up to say there was never any tangible, he did an interview and Louisville was in the lead, and then he did an interview 6 months later and Kentucky was in the lead. He basically just didn't do interviews for like 6-7 months. And you had to kind of speculate, okay, Louisville's in the lead. Now Kentucky's in the lead. And then he ended up just committing during the early signing period as a senior in high school. And so I keep telling, my audience that, which I know overlaps quite a bit with your audience, is he's never been a Joe Tipton. Here's my top 10. Now here's my top 5. Now here's my top 3. I'm going to announce on this day. It wouldn't surprise me if there was just a statement or maybe even a release from the school or a tweet from a Jeff Goodman or John Rothstein a half an hour before an email from Mike Kaywood. And I don't think this is going to be some big, bold, commitment where he has to let all of social media know that he's going to Arkansas. And I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. So that's just kind of how he's always operated.
Well, also, too, there's something that Razorback fans have been very interested in is like Cal kind of says, like, I'm just going to have 8 players. It's all I'm going for, which it is interesting because you can have 13 scholarships. I mean, you can have more. But then when I look at it, it's like, well, most teams usually only play 8 players for the most part. So, but what'd you make of those comments? And what do you think maybe the direction Cal goes to filling up to the rest of the roster after DJ Wagner? Does he go for just some bodies? Does he still try to get some big time players? Just how do you think the process works in that as far as filling out the roster?
So, again, kind of being a national guy and having a finger on the pulse of things, just outside of Arkansas, I think he kind of learned a lesson from this year. And again, there's so much negativity whenever you talk about how things ended at Kentucky, but they were really good early in the year. Beat North Carolina, who was a number 1 seed, beat Florida at Florida the first week of SEC play. And what ended up happening last year was they had 2 really bad injuries to 2 of their big guys in the summer. They went and added 2 more players, Big Z and a kid named Trey Mitchell, who played as a senior last year at Kentucky. And then the 2 guys that got hurt during the summer came back. And Cal basically had like 11 guys that were good enough to play on any given night. And that's never how he's operated. And so, I think, I'm trying to do some math in my head. I mean, it would have been 9 if those 2 injuries don't happen. I don't know if he goes after a Big Z. I don't know if he goes after a Trey Mitchell, whatever. But I think he's kind of learning from the mistake of last year, which is, bluntly, I had too many good players, and it was hard to set a rotation. Now, they had some injuries too and all that, but it was hard to set a rotation. It was hard to get guys comfortable playing with each other. And so I am not bothered by it. Now, to your point, you're going to have to fill out the back half of the roster with something. And I guess what I hope is that if you get DJ Wagner, and I didn't even answer your question on how good I think they'll be. I think they'll be really good because I'm higher on DJ than most. But I hope if you get a DJ Wagner, if you do get DJ Wagner, you have a really good core of 8. You don't then try to get somebody, if somebody kind of decides at the last minute to pull out of the NBA draft, it's kind of a star caliber player. Because I think the 8 that you have is really good. And I hope that you do use those last couple scholarships if you're going to use them, and you should use them to get to 10 or 11 and find players that want to play in the SEC, want to play on a huge stage like Arkansas, want to play for a Hall of Fame coach, because those players are there. I'll give credit to somebody that Arkansas fans may or may not like, may have no opinion on. But Mark Pope the other day, the Kentucky coach, they took a commitment from a kid from Fairleigh Dickinson, whose final 2 before he committed to Kentucky were Siena and I think Pepperdine. And of course, everybody that's not a Kentucky fan is making fun of him. But I think if you're taking that guy saying, you're our 11th guy, you're only going to play 7-8 minutes, but you're going to have a chance to play on the biggest stage in college basketball. Do you want this opportunity? And that kid says, yes. I think that's how you should be filling out the back half of that roster. By the way, I go back to a few off seasons ago, my alma mater, the University of Connecticut, coming off back-to-back national championships. But a key player on the first championship team was a kid named Joey Calcaterra. He committed in like July, and he was basically a practice body that just told Dan Hurley, like, I want the opportunity to play at UConn, and I just want to know that if I earn my keep on the court, that you'll give me an opportunity. Well, the kid comes in, it's cliche. I don't want to make him sound like Rudy because he's better than that, but just kind of busted his butt, got some minutes early, and became a crucial part of that team, knowing that he's probably the 9th guy, knowing coming in that at best, I'm going to play 8, 9, 10 minutes. The point I'm trying to make, even though the portal's closed, even though the best players are mostly gone, there are still guys out there that would take that opportunity to play for Calipari, that would take that opportunity to be part of a great program in the SEC. And I hope those are the guys that he targets with scholarships 9, 10, 11, 12, because I think if you get DJ, I really like that top 8.
Well, I'll ask you this too, AT. I know what the expectation Razorback fans have for Calipari here at Arkansas, but you're a national guy. So what is your expectation? What do you think Cal can do at Arkansas? Do you still think he can coach? Do you still think that he can be better than in the postseason, at least, than what we saw at Kentucky the past few seasons? What do you think is realistic for John Calipari at Arkansas over the next 4 or 5 years?
So I am a believer, so a lot of things can be true, because every time that I say anything positive about Cal, it's like, well, you're the guy that tweeted this after the Oakland game. And it's like, yeah, I do think that things kind of ran their course with Calipari at Kentucky. That happens. That's life. Not everybody can be Nick Saban, that is still at the apex of his game when he decides to step away, and the apex, at that specific place. And so I just bring it up because for Cal, I do think it had come full circle. And I think a lot of it is on him, but some of it is the fan base wore him out. And I mean, listen, he was the guy that said when he took the Kentucky job, this is a job that you take for 5, 6, 7 years. It's not a job that you take for 20 years and you retire at. It's just not. And so the fact that he wanted to keep coaching, I'm excited, because I do think while it's true that it had run its course at Kentucky, I don't think he's out of juice. And I think all you got to do is look at the last couple weeks. Again, even if you want to say that we should have assumed that those recruits were going to follow him, even a player or two, I can tell you when Adu Thiero hit the portal, all the reports out of Kentucky were, and this, Adu hit the portal when Cal was still at Kentucky. Oh, he's not coming back. He's over Cal. He's over this. He's over that. Cal convinced him to come to Fayetteville. I think the John L. Davis, the Nelly Davis, and Jonas Adu, those speak to a guy that is still hungry. And so I think now that he's got a fresh start, now that he has a fan base that believes in him, which increasingly was less and less, if not non-existent by the end of his time at Kentucky, I think that is going to give him like a weird confidence. Like, you shouldn't be impacted by what the fans feel, but when you walk in the arena, the tension when you lose, the tension of a 2-game losing streak, a 3-game losing streak, where, if Arkansas loses to Tennessee and Bama in back-to-back games next year, yeah, fans are going to be disappointed, but I think for the most part, people won't be freaking out like it's DEFCON 5. which is what it was in Lexington. So I think the fresh start was good for everybody. Maybe it'll make me unpopular again. I think Mark Pope is going to be good at Kentucky, but I also think John Calipari is going to be really good at Arkansas. And I think he's got a little bit of his groove back here these last couple of weeks, and the fresh start I think was good for everybody.
All right, last one for I'll let you get out of here, AT. I know that people may not care about preseason rankings and all that. It is what it is.
Oh, let's do it.
But I know you kind of put together that as far as just where things are at with preseason rankings.
Yeah.
Where do you have Arkansas at where it current stands? And also, in the SEC, when SEC basketball media days comes around, where do you predict that they will be predicted in their order of finish among all the conference teams?
Yeah, so me personally, I have them right now, even without DJ Wagner, at number 2 in the SEC. I don't think there's really anything Cal could do that would make me move them past Bama. Bama could potentially return most of the key pieces from a Final Four team. I think once you get past Bama, you can make an argument for Arkansas. You can make maybe an argument for Tennessee. Auburn returned some pieces. Again, I'm higher on what Mark Pope has done than many others are. So I think it's going to be Alabama. And then I think probably those 4 you can kind of put in any order. I know some people are higher on Florida than others. I like Florida. I like what Todd Golden has done. So I think this team has a chance to be really good. And like I said, with DJ, now, again, assuming everybody stays healthy, which is obviously a crapshoot, I think when I look at that roster, it's not only that you have really talented players, the pieces all fit pretty well together. And so I think that if you can keep that core relatively healthy, if guys make natural progressions like they should, and this is going to be kind of that combination of high upside talent with veteran talent, I think Arkansas has a chance to be really good. I have them right now in the top 15. I think I have them 13, 12, 13, something like that. It's interesting. I don't look at everybody else's top 25s, but I know Rothstein has them about the same spot. So I don't base my opinion on what other people think, but I think it's pretty clear that people are impressed with the talent that the team has accumulated together. Now I do think you probably do need players 9, 10. I know Cal joked about just giving walk-on scholarships or graduate student scholarships or whatever. I think you need another big guy, probably just in case. Some more shooting would be great. Again, I hope that you're not just going for super high-profile guys if they pull out of the draft. I think at that point, there's got to be some 6'8", 6'9" guy that's just happy to bang bodies and play 8-10 minutes in the SEC as a backup to Jonas Adu and Adu and all those guys. I assume there's some 39% three-point shooter from some school that we couldn't find on a map that would be love to play at Arkansas. I don't know if that's how Cal's going to pursue things, but again, to answer your question, it's hard to put anybody other than Bama at number 1, but I'd put Arkansas that next tier, which really could be 3, 4, 5 teams, depending on how you feel about certain teams and certain guys.
It is Aaron Torres of the Aaron Torres podcast. And correct me if I'm wrong, aren't you doing an AMA on the Natty State Sports Discord tonight? Is that what's happening?
Whoever's coordinating it with me, who's a mystery user, he hasn't really confirmed with me, but I think I am. So yeah, check me out if I get a DM about that. If I get a link, I'll click it, as long as it, hopefully that sounded like bad, but hopefully it doesn't give my computer any viruses. But if I get a credible link from a credible person, then yes, I will do an AMA. Ask me just about anything. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, assuming that it's still on. So that's cool.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so, because he is that mysterious person is excited about it. So
okay,
it should be remaining on. But
they made it sound like a blind date or something. Like, Jill's really excited to meet you.
She's got a great personality. Yeah, doesn't mean she's always the one that's the best looker. So it kind of shows. Okay. It's kind of like Natty State Sports, man. We're not the best looking, but we got great personality. So
there you go. You sure do.
Yeah,
I can't speak to the looks. That's not really my area of expertise, but you're all full of personality, and that's all you can ask for. So yeah, apparently I'm doing a Discord tonight. So that's awesome.
Guess we'll find out. But hey, Aaron Torres of the Aaron Torres podcast. You can follow him on Twitter, X at Aaron_Torres. As always, buddy, appreciate you joining us. Great stuff, and enjoy your summertime, man. We'll be catching up with you soon.
Thank you. By the way, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be asked every single question that you just asked me in that AMA tonight, but tune in anyway, because I'll probably be answering most of the same questions. But I'm looking forward to it, though.
We not done yet either, so don't be satisfied, because we not done.
Hey, John, Bob Holt, Arkansas Democrats. I added 2-parter if that's okay. You mentioned Arkansas. Eric,
Why do you always talk about Arkansas? But go ahead.
well, why do you always talk about Kentucky?
You missed it. Okay, you missed it. You missed it. Just tell me you missed it. I'm not going to go there with you, Dave. Why not?
And that will be the last question I answer with that hat on.
Oh, shoot.
That is why Arkansas is fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I like, I didn't like the game, but I'm glad I was able to walk off the floor again and deep inside and have that funny feeling that, hey, one more time, Horns.
Best guys, I know it's a tough time for you. The coach is gone, but you got a new coach now, and you got to listen to what he says. Okay, I know you're thinking, oh, who is this new guy? Where's the other guy that crashed the motorcycle? We like him better. He was cool or whatever. Forget about all that. Listen to the new coach and get out there and win some games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking.
Big Red, so excited. Big Red. Oh.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
I was a teacher today. Told those boys, welcome to the SEC.
Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away, but the call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
Let's stick my dick in the mashed potato. Go Hogs.
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
The John Neighbors Show is live from the Natty State Sports Studios.
All right, welcome back into the John Neighbors Show here live from Tin Roof Dixon. As we are hanging out here until 6 o'clock this afternoon, at least live streaming the show. We'll keep the party going on throughout. I don't know. We'll see what happens. They're open until 2 a.m. tonight. And apparently the lighting changes. Now we're blue. I don't know what happened here.
Works for me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, blue's a good color. You know, it's not too bad. Don't tell it to the Razorback fans because they'll think we're a Kentucky fan, something like that. But we got Noah from Tin Roof hanging out with us. What's up, Noah?
How's it going, guys? I'm doing great.
Yeah, and as I have said before, you know, there's a lot of people who have great mustaches. You have a pretty elite one. You had longer hair, too, and you had to cut that for a wedding, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and I did trim the mustache a little bit, kind of like groom it.
Because last time you were on the show, people were thinking that you were Andrew Ellis's doppelganger.
That's true.
Yeah,
yes.
So luckily, that's actually the real reason why he changed it, because he's like, I do not want to be confused with Andrew Ellis, because that'd be the worst feeling ever.
Dispel that rumor.
Yeah, he had to get rid of it. But, no, it's good to be back here at Tin Roof, as always, and it's always a great time hanging out here, too, and know that you're a diehard Razorback fan, and
absolutely
one of the reasons why we were able to do this, because you actually came up to me. I don't remember how long it was ago that I was at Tin Roof.
Probably like 2 to 3 months ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and you were just like, hey, we need to do something.
I said, hey, John Neighbors, what's up, man? And then you kind of brought up the fact that you were kind of looking to do something with a bar on Dixon Street or a place starting to do some live shows, and I put you in touch with Mallory. And the rest is history.
That's right. And there's no better place to do it from. I mean, listen, you got everything here. I know that because we said you're security, right? And then you have another job here,
I also work in the kitchen.
Okay. So, yeah, it's always a good like every time I see you out here and stuff, man, just post it up, making sure that everything's where it needs to be and managing it pretty well, too.
And, we were saying at the break, I was glad Brock Lesnar did not cause any problems, because I don't think that I know I'm a security guy, but I don't think I could have handled that.
That's a perfect segue. I was going to lead you into that. So when Brock Lesnar was here, which, by the way, folks, it was actually Brock Lesnar. It was not made up. Very distinguished. If you see a guy like that walk in, you're kind of like, okay, we need to have a game plan just in case something goes awry. You know, like whether you got to call in the bullpen or something. Be like, hey, we need some extra guys in here.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy that big walk in here. So I don't know what we would do.
See, that's all I've always been curious about, because I'm like we were talking about. I was like, hey, if he got it, out of hand, there's a lot of people here, but I don't know even know if all of us together. It looked like from the Matrix or whatever. When you have all the people jumping on top of him and he's just throwing people around. It's like it doesn't matter.
He's the one.
Yeah, he was good. So, but luckily he didn't get out of hand. He was pretty chill.
He was great. I heard he tipped pretty well.
That's a plus.
He was here with his wife, who's also WWE. And they were here supporting their daughter, Maya, at the track and field event, who she's shot put, I believe, at Colorado State national champion.
No, see, that makes sense now as to why he was here. Again, I still think that was because we were here at Natty State Sports, but
absolutely,
we'll roll with that. So, but you were saying that you like talking about Razorback basketball.
Well,
That's your go-to thing.
Yeah, that's my bread and butter. That's my favorite, probably of the three.
That's why you got those guys over there. Pod at the Palace.
I listen to the pod every day, guys. I promise. I've been thinking more and more like Calipari's been talking about the 8 or 9 guys, and it does worry me a little bit. Just like because you're foul trouble or an injury away from really not having any depth. And I was talking with my uncle about it, and I mean, I really do think. I mean. Even bringing in, like, if it's going to be a scholarship guy, but bring in, like, a KK Robinson type of guy, just some depth players that know that they're not going to be stars on the team, not going to get a lot of minutes, but still just having some options for when things don't go according to plan.
That wouldn't be such a bad idea, I mean, because, listen, you got to add some depth, and you got players to add into it. And who knows, is Jackson Robinson officially committed anywhere yet?
I think he could still go to the draft.
Okay, yeah, still could go to the draft. Yeah, he could. I still think that'd be the greatest thing ever if he brought another prodigal son home. I mean, get Jackson Robinson back
awesome.
in. That would be cool. But yeah, that's what I was actually talking with Aaron Torres earlier. It's like baseball's going on right now. People are a little worried. Well, whatever. You're in postseason. You got the regionals. You're a national seed. Football, I think people are just kind of like, whatever, just, fine.
Show me something.
Yeah,
like,
we'll wait. Yeah, because we've been hearing it forever. But it's like for basketball, it doesn't matter. It's like just whatever it is you talk about. It's like, hey, do you think Calipari could win a national championship this year? And people are like, oh, well, let me tell you why. He's going to.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how basketball's always been a big deal, but it's the biggest game in town right now. Like, basketball is king. It's everything.
I mean, I've always thought it's king at Arkansas. I mean, in terms of probably the people that show out to everything, it's football. We get busier during football games here at Tin Roof than we do during basketball games, and I think that's just part of being in the SEC and everything. But we're a basketball school.
I agree.
And so I just want us to acknowledge that and take pride in that. We need to take pride in that. Our basketball arena is the Palace. It's the basketball palace of Mid-America. We need to take pride in that and understand that we are a basketball school.
Well, I've always said just because off the in-state talent alone for basketball, it's like if you get a 5-star player out of the state of Arkansas in football, that's like a unicorn.
Yeah.
And then if you get 4-star, it's usually fairly consistent, but there's just not enough per class. But in basketball, it seems like they're churning out McDonald's All-Americans once every 2 or 3 years. But obviously with basketball, you need a lot less players to have an impact. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's you mentioned Bud Walton, which I know they're trying to do renovations at some point in time for it. But to me, it's so incredible to see if you had only 10,000 people at the Bud Walton Arena for any game. It's like, what happened? Like, was there a wreck at the Bobby Hopper Tunnel? Did somebody get locked down? Like, what happened? Is there another pandemic?
Yeah.
But anywhere else, there's places that you get 10,000 people. It's like the greatest thing that they've ever seen. So that's where it's like it's a fun thing to be able to witness. And like this year for Cal, I'm not saying that it's going to be like this for every game, but I expect even against like Alcorn State or wherever they play, they're going to be 20,000 people.
The non-con, we are going to have a lot of sellouts. I mean, I don't see why not. We're the talk of college basketball still.
Yeah, which is quite an honor, honestly, when you get to that point. And Cal also talked about Tin Roof, He said that it was a little too rowdy over here, a little too loud for him.
He said they got him in an apartment or a condo right across the way, and he says that it's too loud late at night.
Sorry for partying.
Yeah,
I mean, my goodness, like
we're a selling point on why your players want to come here.
That's right.
They see this place, they want to come play at Arkansas. They see Dixon Street, they want to come play at Arkansas. It's a selling point.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but it's like, you can't really talk. I know saying things just to, relate to the crowd and all that. But I'm like, man, if you're on Dickson Street, it kind of comes with the territory, It's like, it's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and why did they put him there?
Hey, listen, it's because it's a nice spot. And I'm sure it was something that he wanted to do. And there he is. And so, I don't know. Like, he's just going to do it. I wonder whenever he gets into a new house, if he gets into a new house. I don't know. But here's also the thing with, but the Tin Roof, it's like, because you guys got concerts going on downstairs here. You'll have a dance party DJ up there upstairs. You got outdoor concerts going on. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be a little loud over here because it's all about the live music. So you got to enjoy yourself. He just needs to come down and see what it's all about. That's what he needs to do. You saw him though that one time.
Yeah,
walking.
He didn't walk in.
That's his loss, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder if he was that like when he was walking by. If that's when he was like, there, it's loud, and that's where I'm gonna just hold it to ever.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was me made him not like Tin Roof.
He just saw you, Noah, and you're just like, absolutely not. I am never darkening the door of that place after seeing Noah. Yeah, I doubt that is the case. I want you to explain this shirt to me. I was asking about this that you got going on. It's for those of you who may not be just listening. It's a shirt that says Off Broadway with a picture of Billy D. Williams on it. So explain that to me.
Well, Off Broadway, it's a music joint in St. Louis where I'm from, and my parents are regulars there. They see a lot of music there. My family friends, they do a little music festival called Twang Fest there.
Twang Fest?
Yes.
Nice.
It's kind of they're big into like Americana folk music type of stuff. Not the biggest artists in the world, but that's what they like doing. They do some house concerts as well. But I was there for a show. I think it was during Twang Fest, actually. And I saw this on the wall. They were selling it. And honestly, I just saw Lando Calrissian.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty much what he's known for.
That's pretty cool. And then I had a friend of mine later tell me that it's from this picture is from an old, I think, a Colt 45 ad. That's actually really funny. If we could look it up on YouTube later, but I guess that's
sweet.
where it's from. But I just saw the picture of Billy D. Williams. It's got some cool horseshoes on the side.
Okay. Are you a big music guy, by the way?
Big music guy.
So
yeah.
who's the greatest artist from St. Louis, in your opinion?
Chuck Berry.
What did I hear?
Well, Mallory and I love Smino. He's my favorite.
Who is Smino? Should I know who that is?
He's probably in terms of popularity, like a B or C tier rapper.
Okay. I
Probably
thought you because Nelly's from St. Louis, isn't he?
Nelly is from St. Louis. Yeah, he's probably the most famous, and then we've also got Metro Boomin, who is he's a producer. He's not a rapper, but he's produced more platinum records than anybody. He does songs with Drake and Future. He just had 2 albums with Future.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing somebody else that was also a famous rapper from St. Louis. Sure, there is one. Who? Chingy. That's one. Yeah.
But
yeah, Holiday Inn and Right There, right? Yeah. And
I would say without a doubt the best musician from St. Louis is Chuck Berry.
I'd agree. I'd agree. What's that?
Sexy Red is from St. Louis, yes.
Oh, yeah, Sexy Red. I was going to say Sexy Red. And who is Sexy Red? Should I know who that is? I don't know any of these people.
You don't need to know who Sexy Red is.
Okay.
But if you go upstairs in Tin Roof, you'll hear some Sexy Red.
Some Sexy Red. Okay, thank you.
And who else? SZA, if you know who that is. She's big time. One of her albums was on that Apple Music Top 100 list, but she's an R&B singer, newer. SZA is her name.
Okay, I do. I think they were featured. I think that she was featured in a Justin Timberlake song. I think that might be the only reason why.
Yeah. No, but she's amazing.
I am on top of my music game, obviously. So, well, okay. So if I go up to St. Louis, I need to go to Twang Fest, though.
Yeah, I think it's around the April time, if I'm not mistaken. They might
a lot of banjos,
maybe it's in the summer.
Like a lot of banjos and stuff. Yeah.
Banjos, just mostly acoustic stuff, but they've got some variety there.
Okay.
It's all at Off Broadway.
Have you ever heard of the band called Nickel Creek?
No,
man. Because they have a banjo, and that's about all I got when it comes to that type of music.
I'm a big Mumford & Sons guy. When they just
my brother loves Mumford & Sons, so yeah. So at least I am familiar with that one. I am familiar with that one. So, but okay, cool. So for St. Louis, are you, I guess, attached to the sports teams that are there in St. Louis? You root
absolutely
for Cardinals and Blues.
Yep.
Right.
And St. Louis City. the new MLS team, and the Battlehawks.
What are they?
XFL or UFL.
Oh,
now.
well, I mean,
but
XU. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But they sell out. They sell out the games at the Edward Jones Dome, or it's not called the Edward Jones Dome anymore, but where the Rams used to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they'll quite sell the place out, but they'll get 30,000 plus there for the UFL games, and the other teams have like 10,000 average attendance or less.
Well, I mean, and people still love their football that's there, even though when the Rams moved
and it's
out.
all out of spite.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, because when the Rams moved out and they were like, "Oh, we're going to show you."
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that like 10 years ago, roughly?
I want to say it was like 2016.
Oh, it was that recent? Yeah, I guess it is true, because then like 2 years removed, they went to the Super Bowl.
We had Todd Gurley.
Yes.
We drafted Todd Gurley, and he had at least 1 or 2 years in St. Louis, and then they moved to L.A.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Rams, I remember, was the greatest show on turf.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
I just missed that, and
Really?
I got all the years of shit.
Yeah, it's like, hey, listen, you're talking to a Jets fan.
Yeah,
we haven't been to the
okay.
playoffs since 2010.
Okay.
It's like it was during the Obama administration the last time that they were at the playoffs. So.
Oh, man. Can you, describe your emotions with getting Aaron Rodgers and just the whole way that happened with him tearing his Achilles?
It's every year. That is just so classic Jets. Like, just watching. Can't wait. This is the greatest quarterback ever, because Joe Namath is the greatest Jets quarterback ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you got like Chad Pennington or Vinny Testaverde. And then like Mark Sanchez. Like that's
maybe Mark Sanchez. Yeah.
And I don't even call Brett Favre a Jet. He was there for a year.
No.
So, but anyways, like I was so excited because I'm like, hey, this Jets team is really good. They got young, got great wide receivers, got running backs, they got
corners.
Yeah, they got great defense.
One of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, it was all like right there. But I'm like, nope, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. And I remember watching that Monday Night Football game. I even tweeted out. I was like, all right, gonna check out Aaron Rodgers' debut. And I remember, I still have the tweet, and I said, I was like, what could possibly go wrong? 3 plays in, who needed that Achilles anyways? So he was out for the year. That was great. And I'm like, yep. That's okay, though. Zach Wilson came in.
Oh, yeah. The
Thank
savior.
goodness. Yeah, he comes in there with him and his crazy mom and, doesn't do anything and starts, just is terrible. So, yeah, it's kind of like what I just am used to as a Jets fan.
Okay.
It happens. So, yeah, Jets and Razorbacks have not been too kind to me over the past decade. Dude, 2010 was like my best year ever as a football fan. I had the Razorbacks go to the Sugar Bowl. And
that was probably
it was great. And then the Jets went to the AFC title game.
I didn't even know that happened.
They went back-to-back years.
Was that
09 and 10?
Bart Scott?
Was
that one of those years?
Yeah, when he beat the Patriots. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop a nosebleed. Yeah. That was, Mark Sanchez, Thomas Jones, LaDainian Tomlinson was the running back there late.
Wow, I do remember that.
Yeah. It was. It wasn't very memorable because they lost to the Steelers and then lost to the Colts. And back-to-back years, but still, that was just as a peak. I think that was when I peaked right there in 2010, in all aspects. It's like my football teams were great, and then it just ended up being nonsense. But here's the thing: as a Jets fan, nobody can ever accuse me of being a bandwagon fan.
Absolutely not.
No, because
and you got proof on your Twitter.
That's right, proof on my Twitter, and usually in my studio I have a little old Jets helmet. That is there. Like, I go back to 98 when he had Vinny Testaverde, Curtis Johnson, Curtis Martin, Keyshawn Johnson, Wayne Crabette, Anthony Becht, Jumbo Ellison.
Anthony Becht. He's the head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks.
How about that? How about that? Yeah. So, nope. There's probably so many people listening like, who are those people you just mentioned? It's like, yeah, exactly.
I kind of was in that boat.
Yeah.
But
up until you knew about the coach that was of
Becht
the
and I knew
Battlehawks.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's see. Hey, look at this. Waltco Act says, Noah is a natural. Have him on more.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that a compliment there, too? Also, Bobby G says Tina Turner's from St. Louis. Is that true?
I think so. Yeah. John Goodman.
I mean, it's on the internet, so it's got to be true. So, you said John Goodman's from St. Louis? Man. I wish that, Fayetteville, where I'm from, had somebody, famous from it. But we don't.
Yeah, we've got the whole Walk of Fame in the Loop. There's a lot of people you'll find out that are from St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who would be the most famous person that was from Fayetteville.
Pam from The Office is from St. Louis.
Jenna Fisher. Okay.
Yep.
Man.
She makes appearances at Blues games. Gets on the jumbotron. The crowd goes crazy.
That's right. Who's that? Nikki Glaser, yeah.
She just moved back recently.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of people that are there. She's always been known, but she's after that Tom Brady roast. She's
she's become huge.
Yeah.
And then I think she just had I saw that she just had an HBO special, so maybe that was part of her marketing strategy.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably went hand in hand in that. So
yeah.
But John Hamm.
John Hamm for sure.
Yeah, that's another great one.
my aunt went to high school with him actually at John Burroughs.
Oh,
She was in his class.
There you go. See, look at that.
Yeah.
We're making all the connections here no matter what. So also, let's see, going back. See, this is the type of thing that happened in the chat. When we had Aaron Torres on, somebody asked who would win in a fight between Neighbors and Torres. And as you can imagine, the answers probably went all towards Torres, which is fine.
I don't know. I think I've got you in that one.
Why?
Dude, he's too. I don't know.
I have never been in a fight in my life. Not once.
Do you think he has though?
I mean, I know he's not. He's been in at least the same amount, but I wouldn't take myself in a fight. That's like I always get somebody else to do the fighting for me.
Well, that's a smart decision.
I think so too. It's how I stay in bars like Tin Roof, so that way I don't make sure. I don't have a problem where I get kicked out because I start something. It's like you start something, I'm going to let Noah finish it for me.
Well,
that's a good strategy, right?
That.
Yeah. Because I don't want to do that.
Okay, but are you really nervous about the baseball team? Because I've got two thoughts on it.
Give it to us.
In one case, it's like sometimes you really need to get that punch in the mouth right before you go in, piss the team off. I mean, they're gonna have that fuel, the fire lit under their ass
for sure
going into this entire week.
Okay.
But on the other hand, baseball is one of those games with you got to be hot at the right time.
That's also true.
And the pitching has kind of really cooled down a little bit. I mean, I'm not worried about Hagen. Hagen's gonna shove when he pitches at regionals, but the rest of the guys, Molina, Tigert, we don't know what we're gonna get from those guys, and they seem to be like givens toward the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's gonna have to get rolling quickly at regionals.
But yeah, because you don't have any time anymore. There's no time to hope and pray and get your mind right. It's like mind right has to be right now, and a lot of these players were on last year's team that did not make it. But even last year, yeah, it was tough because you were a national seed, but you could almost at least chalk it up to be like, hey, this team was dealing with, like, everybody was injured. Like half the lineup was done for the year. Half your pitching was done. So you could at least almost chalk it up. You don't have that excuse this year.
No, we were ranked number 1 for most of the year.
Yeah, like you've been there. You won the SEC West. You won 20 SEC games. There's no excuse for this. And I know it's tough, but here's the thing. If they don't get to Omaha, it's going to be a massive disappointment because they are one of the best 8 teams in the country. I don't know, how far they'll go into Omaha and in the College World Series because once you get there, who knows? But if you have the home field in regionals and in supers, there is no reason why you don't win those those weekends at home.
And with how well we played at home, we lost like one home game all year, pretty much.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
2,
3 or 4 total. But yeah, as far as in the SEC, I think it's only been 2, to be honest, because they've been really good. So that doesn't need to be the case. You don't need to fall flat on your face. I'm not overly concerned because I do trust Dave Van Horn, and I think Matt Hobbs, they'll get it going and they'll get their minds right. And I'm hoping that a lot of those players that were on the team last year are motivated because they're like, hey, we don't want to have happen last year what happened where we got, our taints handed to us by TCU. I think Trey Richardson's ball still hasn't landed.
Oh, my. Yeah, I remember being in here. There were a lot of TCU fans in here after the game.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's something like whoever they get is not a fan base that travels well because that's always the worst part about it is like when you get a bunch of fans in here. Like some people,
unless we win.
Well, yeah, when we win, but when you lose, it's just like,
yeah,
it's rough enough as it is. Come on, give us a break. And then they're always like, hey, you remember that foul ball in 2018? It's like, we remember that one. Thank you.
Nightmares.
Thank you. Yeah, it gets tweeted out every single time. So, but yeah, no, I'm not too worried about. They have the talent. It's just a matter of like executing it. Take care of what you're good at.
I don't care whatsoever that we lost our first 2 games. Lost our first 2 games in that season.
No, I mean
I don't care whatsoever. Go get your barbecue.
Yeah. Get back to Fayetteville because now they have, like over a week to get ready for their game.
Almost a week and a half.
Yeah, because I think Friday is the first game. 2 o'clock.
Okay,
I mean,
over a week.
Yeah, but it's like Hoover's not too far of a trip to come back, and then you got time to get healthy, to get your mind right, and
And
get after it.
No matter what, we're going to be in Fayetteville for the next 2+ weeks.
Well, at least one, as long as they run the regional. Because then if they don't, then it's
they'll still be in Fayetteville though.
No, that's true. Yeah, technically they still will be in Fayetteville regardless. They'll just it's not in Baum where they really want to be. But I still think though that with like you mentioned the pitching and like the other guys, like it's I know that they're capable of it. Like I know we've seen that they're capable of it, but I guess what makes me nervous is now the pressure's on completely to them. Because
but I think they like that.
No, and I'm hoping
this team.
I'm not disagreeing. I hope they do. It's just because of people have bad reasons of, or at least bad memories of what's happened whenever Arkansas has hosted. Because since 2019, since really the pandemic, Arkansas has hosted twice in postseason play, and both times they got trounced in the region. Well, one time they barely got by in the regional, and then lost supers to North Carolina State. But then this last year, it was the TCU, and I think people just have a bad taste in their mouth because they're like, is it going to be helpful to us to be at home over the past few years?
Almost like because when you go down early like we did to TCU, and then you're at home, then it just it feels like the pressure starts to mount, and then everybody's got their butts clenched. And
well, then it's like even like Oklahoma State when they went to Stillwater in 2022 where they weren't hosting. I still to this day, I don't think I've been at a baseball game where I was more like on the edge of my seat for every single pitch. But you went in there almost with no pressure if you were Arkansas. You're like, hey, no one's expecting us to be good.
Was
we're
that
against
the
this team.
Jalen Battles?
Yep.
Grand Slam?
Yep. Yep. The broadcaster was, oh, no. Like, it just sees it. And then Hagen Smith, as a freshman, struck out Rock Reggio.
Oh, yeah. I hated that guy.
Everybody hated that guy. But what was so funny is that I actually talked to Peyton Stovall about this because they knew each other played. He's like, man, he's actually like the nicest, coolest guy ever. He's like, he's just a big personality.
Oh, yeah. You'd love to have that guy on your team.
Because I even asked him, I was like, you think he could play for Dave Van Horn? He's like, not that way he couldn't. But, some people embrace that type of personality. But even then, it's like once they got through that and navigated it, I knew they were going to beat North Carolina and Chapel Hill in that super. Because they're just like, hey, we overcame that. That was one of the best teams. That was a talented Oklahoma State team, like loaded team.
They were more talented than us that year.
And sometimes you just, when you battle, you kind of have the pressure released. And now it's got to be the same way with Arkansas. Whoever they get matched up with this next weekend in Fayetteville, just hopefully, here's what I'm hoping happens. And this is the best case scenario. You pitch Molina or whoever in game one against NJIT, East Connecticut, whatever. And you take care of business. And you don't use much pitching. Like, have Molina go 6-7 innings.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe bring in a McIntyre for a little bit, like whatever.
Yeah.
Do that. And then in game two,
then you've got Hagen, and you've got Fouch, and you've got Gackel.
And I was like, and if you can, whoever that is, if you go through that, and if Arkansas wins game 1 and 2, I know they're going to be all right.
Yeah.
But you have to take care of, I know it's so cliche to say, but it's true. It's like you have to take care of those games. And if you win, because that's the whole thing about in Omaha that people may not understand. When Arkansas made it to the finals in 2018, it was a great run that they had, and it was a great time. But what made the difference in that is that they won the first 2 games.
Yes.
When you win those first 2 games and those double elimination deals.
I mean, I want to say the stats on it are like 60, 70%.
Yeah, because you get an extra day of rest. You get the other team that's facing elimination who's burned through their pitching. Like, it just sets you up. So that's why in this particular regional, that's going to be the key for them is just you want to win the whole thing, the whole regional anyways, regardless of how it happens. But if you can win those first 2 games, it changes the whole game. And then that gives you extra time. And then who knows, maybe in game 3 they do Brady Tiger. Maybe they go Gage Wood, whoever is the starter. Game 3. After Hagen Smith and then that. And then you should have enough to do that. But if they don't do that, then I'm going to get concerned. I'm going to get worried. Because that's what happened last year is they won game 1. They struggled a little bit in game 1. I don't even remember who it was against.
But, we went down early, I think.
Yeah, and then they played TCU, and then TCU just teed off.
Oh, my gosh.
I couldn't remember exactly what the total amount of – because the Arkansas and TCU played each other 3 times last year, once in Arlington and then twice.
I feel like TCU scored almost 40 runs.
I think it was actually 40 runs. Like, I'm not kidding. Because I think the first game they scored like 13, and then in the regionals they scored – something like 12, and then the next game was like 11, like something crazy.
I thought they had almost 20 in one.
Maybe they did.
I don't remember, but
yeah. And it's just you know you also got to factor in the weather that comes into that too, and baseball's just weird, man. I love baseball, but I hate baseball at the same time. It's frustrating.
Yeah, but that's why you love baseball, because you do hate it sometimes.
I know. It's only
like golf.
Yeah, well, it's only good. Like baseball is the one sport too, where one pitch can change everything. Like the game's never over.
Literally never
it's
over.
never over until it's actually over. And then one pitch can literally, you could be up 2 runs, bottom of the 9th, feeling great, and then there's a runner at first with 2 outs, and then a home run. Like that's and it's like crap.
Yeah,
like
and
what
you walk a guy on a strike 3 that they should have called.
Some Perry Costello nonsense. And you end up again costing you. Like, see, that's again goes back to why I hate baseball for those reasons.
Yes.
But again, you're right. I do love baseball.
But that's part of the beauty of baseball.
It is.
Also.
It is, and that's why I'm really hopeful for everybody's sake. Because even here at Tin Roof, I was telling Mal about this last time I was here. It was like yes, it's great to have regionals here at Baum because you don't have to travel. But like even for like the economy here in Fayetteville and the hotels, the restaurants, a place like Tin Roof, when people are coming in, it's great for the economy.
Especially with the students not being in town, we can use a little bit more.
Yeah. So basically, if Arkansas does not advance in the regionals, they let the entire city population down, and they failed. And so you owe. Like that's our taxes. Like our taxes are going to get raised.
Yeah,
crazy stuff's going to happen.
Chicken Man's gotta pay up.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Chicken Man's got to pay up, and but at least they're hosting a super regional. It'll be a national seed,
and we should host a super.
No, they will. Yeah,
we're pretty much guaranteed.
If they're not a national seed, a 1 through 8 seed, then something I screwed up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think last time I checked on D1 baseball, which. No, they're not the no all end all be all, but they're still pretty on point with it. They had Arkansas as the 5 seed.
Okay.
So if they have Arkansas as a 5 seed, for them to go 5 seed to a 9 seed is just
that would be stupid.
Yeah, that'd be absurd.
And we lost to South Carolina, the number 10 team in the country, and we lost to Kentucky.
Well, it's like A&M is a national seed. They were the 3 seed, and they lost twice in the tournament too.
Yeah.
Kentucky and Tennessee both lost already, and they just happened to win. So yeah, the point is that you're going to have plenty of opportunities to get yourself right, get your pitching right, get your hitting right, but I don't know if that's possible. At least the timely hits.
But the thing about the hitting, though, if we do make it to Omaha, that ballpark is perfect for the way that this team plays.
Man, I'm hoping until the wind starts blowing. That's always a factor. And then the rain is
but
always
I'm just
there.
saying the big outfield.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really have the home run sluggers that the other teams do, like that Caglione guy in Florida,
or the guy from I forgot his name. The
South Carolina.
the
guy?
Georgia guy that has like 35 home runs this year.
Oh yeah, I don't remember his
Condon,
name.
I think is his name, something like that. But yeah, they don't have that. But again, they don't. Like they need to rely on their pitching and their defense, and then just do enough offensively.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do.
Situational hitting.
Just do enough. Because here's the thing. I know that Arkansas's had games that they've not, but if they can just get, I think I saw a stat that if Arkansas scores 7 runs, they're undefeated. Now, I know that's easy to say because that's a lot of runs, but still, it's like, hey, make that to where if you can get 7 runs, feel good. If your team
or just like 5.
Yeah, because I saw the graphic on the SEC tournament that they popped up that Arkansas in the 3 major categories in pitching is first in the SEC, and then in the 3 major categories in hitting, they're 12th. That's just frustrating because I'm like, I know that these guys are talented, but just imagine if you were like 6th.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be number 1, but like if you were 6th, you would be a completely different team.
You'd be the best team in the country.
Which I don't know if that's what you want these days with that 1 seed. Maybe that's why Tennessee is trying to lose, but I don't know. But still, you got baseball's fun because you never know what's going to happen in postseason play. I just hope that Arkansas, I think if they can make it to Omaha, most people will be happy. I'm not saying that you can just go 0-2 and everything's going to be hunky dory, but that at least you'll be where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's by getting to Omaha and everything. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been fun talking Razorbacks with you. And,
absolutely.
And I was talking about Razorbacks right now, and it's a beautiful day out here. I was actually looking at the weather last week, and it looked like it was supposed to rain today, but it doesn't look like it's raining at all. It's beautiful. A little wind, a little sunshine going on. So.
Yeah, it's magnificent.
No, I don't know how you're not burning up in those long sleeve shirts and everything.
Oh man, I run cold.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's probably why you never have to worry about it when it's packed in here. You ever breaking a sweat or anything? So
yeah,
probably pretty nice there too. So, but yeah, Razorback. We will know Monday. Selection Monday. I keep wanting to call Selection Sunday. Selection Monday for who the Razorbacks will be matched up against in the regionals and supers. Yeah, I know. I'm excited about it too. And people are going to be yearning for those tickets. And like me and Mal were talking about, when the regionals come, when Arkansas gets that 2 p.m. game, which they'll get, Dave Van Horn always chooses that 2 p.m. game on Friday. As soon as the game's over, come out to Tin Roof and hang out. We're going to be hanging out here, so it's going to be a good time. Yeah,
absolutely.
The place to go. Have other baseball games on too, and whoever the other 2-3 seed will be.
Yeah, probably some playoff basketball and hockey.
Yeah. They got all the TVs here, and if you want to get down with the live band, they'll have that. Dance floor upstairs, outdoor patio. I mean, everything.
And one thing that's been good for us has been that the 2 Dallas teams are still involved, and there are a lot of Dallas people around here, so we the numbers have been good coming out, and it's going to be, there's a Dallas team that's going to be playing every single night for the next, until both those series are over.
Oh yeah, and then also with Dallas, it helps having a Razorback with Daniel Gafford on there, because people are always about their former Hogs and pro Hogs and them taking care of business.
The landlord, as they call him.
Is that what they call him?
They call him the landlord, because you got to pay rent if you want to get in the paint while he's there. Yeah.
I see. Everybody's got to have a good nickname. If you're, that's when you know you've made it in the NBA, is if you have a nickname.
Yeah.
And I think I actually did hear about that with Gafford, but I never really knew.
I don't know. I don't know if he got it in Washington or in Dallas, but I heard about it. I heard about it once he got to Dallas.
Okay.
He's the landlord.
He's doing great so far, and so it's a great place to come out and not only get some live music, but also watch the games too. Again, folks.
Yeah, please.
Hey.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
But tonight, Dollar Wells. So like rum and Coke, vodka Red Bull. I think vodka Red Bull counts, but vodka soda, anything like that. $1, 9 to 11, and then they move to $3 after 11.
Yeah. So no matter what, you're getting a great deal. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, come on out. They're going to have half price apps too going on. Happy hour as well going on right now too. So. 430 West Dixon Street if you want to type it into your phone. But if you just type in Tin Roof, it's the only tin roof in the state of Arkansas, and it's the only place worth coming to here on Dixon Street. So, Noah, appreciate you coming on and talking some Razorbacks. Yeah, we'll look forward to talking with you again. And folks, appreciate everybody who's been listening in and watching in here on the John Neighbors Show, presented by Natty State Sports. Same sports show, same sports channel. Come on out to Tin Roof here on Dixon Street, folks. We'll see you later tonight.